All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the best in guild, Talandre NA East. I am your host of Blue Squadron, joined by my co-host and co-caster today for the first time on the desk, Invulnerable GG. You want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hey guys, I'm Invulnerable GG. I dance for men on the internet, and that's all I really do. I have a lot of experience in this game, and I'm curious to see, how these matches unfold, especially with the new meta.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the new meta game. The new patch, there are some players that are really happy about the new patch, a lot of players that are unhappy about the new patch. Personally, I think that it makes guilds adapt a little bit more quickly, and you do get to see who the strongest guild in North America is, or at least in this particular region is, on the current patch, because, you have to adapt very quickly, and that's part of being the best at the end of the day. But how do you personally feel about how the meta is shaking things up right now, or how that patch shook things up?
So, as a personal experience, we versed probably at the moment, strongest guild on NA East, maybe one of the strongest guilds in the world, Exodus. And honestly, the meta is looking quite different. In general, a lot of people are taking damage, a lot of people are dying. So I think especially for the viewers, it's definitely going to make it more interesting to watch, as we're going to see a lot of deaths.
We're going to see a lot of deaths. That's right. As we look ahead, it looks like our first match is getting ready to go here. Let's take a look at Seraphim versus Flex in this one. I'll introduce Flex, hailing from the Snowburn server. They believe they're rank 1 in their alliance, allied with CPQ, at least they were allied with CPQ, Infamy, and Dwagon. Rank 1 on the server. They have won 11 out of 12 sieges so far in Throne and Liberty. And their chat PvP, they just said that they want top 8 because that's what they got last time.
Damn, yeah. Oh, well, on the other side, we got Seraphim. Now, I'm not too familiar with Seraphim, but they're from the server Stellarite. I do know Flex. Flex is definitely looking pretty strong. But in general, Seraphim is the second strongest in their alliance, the second strongest on the server, and they've won 2 sieges. So right now, according to the best in guild Talandre thing, as we can see here, Flex is definitely looking a little stronger right now, but maybe Seraphim can pull out something and be ahead of the meta. And then see what they could do.
I'll be honest with you, Seraphim is a guild that over the course of the Talandre expansion has gotten increasingly strong. These guys were a lot weaker when the expansion started and have come a long way developing as a guild. So, again, they used to be more of a low to mid-tier guild, and now, again, many people on Snowburn consider these guys some of the best people that you could possibly pick up for an alliance. In terms of their chat PvP overall, they said they were an erotic Christian guild, interestingly enough. So I'm not entirely certain what that means, but I would say that they are definitely fighting an uphill battle into Flex today, because even as strong as they are, Flex might just be that much stronger. But we're going to see as we look over toward the versus screen for today. It is Seraphim versus Flex. Let's talk about pick ban a little bit. For those of you that don't know the format of the tournament, it is currently best of 1. It transitions to best of 3 later on in the tournament. For NA East, I believe it was only best of 3 for the 3rd place match and the finals, but it is a double elimination tournament. Either way, for the best of 1, there is a pick ban. Both guilds are pulled into voice with one another, and the guild leaders, a coin is tossed. The guild leaders call it. In this case, Seraphim won the coin toss. You get to choose pick or ban. Seraphim chose to pick the map in this case, which means Flex gets to ban 4 maps. Flex banned Digon, Pacolo, Adentis, and Grand Alon. And for the very first time worldwide in this tournament, we are seeing Manticus.
Manticus. Okay, so in general, it's very interesting. We got a mixture of Talandre and the tier 1 maps that were banned here. Manticus, I'm very curious to see. It's a fight that I personally haven't really done myself, and I'm curious to see the strategies that Seraphim and Flex pull for this match.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly the first time that we've seen it in the tournament so far, as it looks like both lobbies are finally ready to go. And talk a little bit about the Cordy crossbows on both teams. Could you tell us who we're really looking out for on both teams here?
Okay, so for Flex, we've got Yanis. I'm going to call him Yanis. I can't pronounce his name. We've got Nell for the quarter users on Flex, and for the quarter users on Seraphim, we've got Valentine and Kill on Duty. I actually know Kill on Duty. I'm pretty sure he does pop off with his quarter Expo. I've seen it in Dominion events, so I'd be curious to see if he pops up over here in this fight.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we do have Flex running into the Manticus. The run distance for this Riftstone is extremely long from the portals, but believe it or not, there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this. I have done several war games in this particular lobby here, and these high grounds are so important for a lot of guilds to take. Flex clearly not prioritizing them right now, instead prioritizing position on the Riftstone proper. I'm interested to see if they're going to send any of their members up and around the Riftstone here to maybe try to claim that high ground. We are seeing on the other side, Seraphim taking the rocks and moving up and around on this one. You can see a lot of their guild starting to run all the way around the Riftstone, and this is part of this particular Riftstone. I'd say it's relatively unique to this Riftstone overall, but they're in their long trek, in their odyssey of a journey, they should ultimately end up being on the high ground on this side of the map, and this is going to spell bad things for Flex. But I'll be honest with you, with the pulls in the current metagame, don't you just get pulled right off the edge, Invul?
In general, I think if you're on the high ground over here, it's gonna be, honestly, I don't really know. I'd be curious to see. It might be a really weird line of sight issues for the guys down below over here, but I'm curious to see if the high ground gives them a huge advantage as they can rain damage from their spell blades. We'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, I think that they might be having a little bit of trouble actually finding the path in order to get over here. M9, the first one able to get here. Bow staff user all alone, waiting for the rest of his guild to kind of get here. Honestly, I think that this is almost too high in order to actually hit anyone on the low ground. You can see that, again, there's no spell in the game that's going to be able to reach that far. And the moment that he tries to drop down, he's just going to get pulled down by all of Flex's tanks. There's the rest of his guild. Seraphim on the high ground here. Manticus, again, this is the first time we've seen two guilds go to toe-to-toe on this map, and these two guilds should be relatively evenly pressed with one another. 2.5 minutes left on the clock before the Riftstone opens, and we have still not seen a single death yet involved.
Yeah, they're definitely taking their time here, both teams really trying to find a great position. As we can see here, red is under the kind of little archway. We got a few flying down over here on the top here.
Yep, finally flying down to get in position here. Taoism, the first one to drop in from Flex right now, and that's a big kill. From Seraphim. Seraphim gets the first kill, first blood of the lobby, but it's Flex that strikes right back. A lot of people landing over in this corner of the Riftstone now. All the action happening right over here. And again, the high ground not doing a super great job for everyone at this moment. Flex doing a good job of cleaning up and controlling this choke point. But honestly, Seraphim fighting back right now, able to push up and through this tiny little choke into this onslaught that Flex has prepared for them. A really tough position to be firing from right now.
Now, I don't know if the red team can be it's going to pull off the high ground, because these guys are actually free casting, as we can see here. Rom on the top, he is free casting on top of red, but in general, it does seem red is pushing down and clearing out yellow over here, as an initial engage is favored towards red here.
Yeah, initial engage definitely favored towards Flex, and you could tell that they've definitely prepared this map in advance. They knew that taking the presence on the Riftstone was definitely going to be better than just trying to go get to that high ground, because you could see how long it actually took Seraphim to run all the way around the Riftstone. Now Flex actually flying out to greet them on the low ground here. Interestingly enough, a party of 2 or 3 statics coming out to fight on the low ground. Coffee Jelly in the middle of everything. That is a tanky boy, a Templar right there, but he's losing a lot of health just when you get him low enough. Now he finally does go down right there. So easy pickups for Seraphim coming up here. They outnumber their opponents right now. Taking out 8 or 9 people like that is a huge deal. That's about 20% of your opponent's overall strength. You can see half of Seraphim going around the left side, half of Seraphim going around the right side, and now we've got Flex going for this first cap on the rift here as they dive up through. It does look like Seraphim is ready for this left side engage, but are they ready for the other engage? They do move over toward it. It does look like Seraphim flankers went up and tried to engage it, and Seraphim is actually winning out with a push on both sides of the Riftstone here. What a crazy spread that we in Vuln on this second push.
In general, I like what Yellow is trying to do. I like what Seraphim is trying to do here. They're actually not like instantly diving deep on either side. They're taking a slow push on each side, trying to bait out the Flex opponents here. And it actually may cause costly for Flex here, especially since they wiped out Flex before this fight. And the Flex group that got wiped, it's hard to regroup on a stone. As the portals, it's hard to reach high ground and regroup with your main boss. So slowly Seraphim and Flex is a very slow fight at the moment. And a few pickoffs from Flex here, but you know, they can take their time here, and it seems like Yellow from the left side is now rotating towards the right side. They may be regrouping. I'm not exactly sure what their plan is here.
Yeah, ultimately, we did see the Greatsword Dagger users on this side of Flex doing a great job of trying to lock down people on the high ground. Coffee Jelly, I'm not sure if this guy has gotten the memento. He is a little, I'm not sure that this guy has gotten the memo, is the word I'm looking for. He is a little deep in enemy territory right now, taking a lot of damage for free and not doing a whole lot for his guild here. They're just kind of pelting him with absolutely no punishment on this side. Seraphim, the rest of the battle is raging on the ramp right now on the right side of this map. If you could go check the left side, see if that is still going on, but it does look like the Seraphim is starting to get a little bit of pressure up here as Flex has still not managed to actually take control of the Riftstone yet. The left side is actually being pushed on right now. The flankers from Seraphim are managing to get onto the Riftstone, occupy a lot of those Flex flankers.
Yeah, right now Flex just kind of left the stairs open. They were able to respond kind of instantly. And honestly, this flank side, all they really have to do is create space for their main board to hopefully push in eventually, because they're actually outnumbered over here. It's around two squads to one squad, but it does seem Seraphim was held by Flex's real strong main board, as we see Flex is, you know, pushing down on that right side.
Yeah, and a lot of this has to do with probably inexperience on the Riftstone here. Seraphim doing a great job of regrouping, but not doing a super great job of sustained pushing to try to get up that ramp. I'll be honest with you, they need to try something different. They need to back up, regroup, and I liked the push from both sides, but they just never committed onto it, Invuln. They basically both just stood on the ramp and slowly died off, and eventually Flex kind of took over. They need to hard commit one way or another, and it looks like they're going to hard commit left on this one. They're going to try to catch Seraphim off guard. There's not enough people on the left side for Seraphim right now to defend a full engage. From Flex rather, to defend a full engage from Seraphim. The front line is dove forward on this left side, but it looks like a lot of people are hung up on this low ground. The flankers from Flex coming in behind them. Kaz doing a good job of keeping everybody healthy back here on the back line for Flex, and Seraphim getting routed. It looked like they tried something there in Vuln. They tried to all go left out of nowhere, but the Flex team, Flex's Flex team on the right side of the map immediately collapsed down and came up behind them and just closed the jaws on Seraphim.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe Seraphim kind of made a misplay right there. They knew that Flex was kind of behind them. They knew Flex was also in the high ground, so pushing up the high ground definitely spelled for getting sandwich and pincered from both sides. As we saw exactly what happened, Flex did a great job of punishing that misplay from Seraphim. And honestly, I was watching the high ground, and it just seems that like Flex's main ball is just way stronger at the moment than Seraphim, showing some real great strength, as they didn't even commit all their numbers to fighting Seraphim as they went up that ramp.
Yeah, they did try their best to try to get up that ramp, but again, they didn't commit too hard one way or another. Do you have eyes on Seraphim currently? I see a couple of their members up on the high ground here, but I think they might be trying to go around.
At the moment, yeah. I do have a view right now. So right now, looks like they're taking the initial push strategy they had. They're going all the way up the mountain over here. I'd be curious to see maybe they fly over and take the high ground. I'm not too sure what their plan is here, but they're at the moment on the stairs here. Let's see if they make their original play or do something a little different this time. There's a few like fights below here. Nothing too crazy, just a few tanks. And oh, yellow is flying over on top of the rocks over here. I'm going to be curious to see what their next play is.
Yeah, thank you for giving us that covers there as they get closer and closer to the Riftstone proper. They're finally starting to fly down here, and I'm not sure that that's the engage they necessarily want, but they do manage to all flood onto the high ground right now. Flex desperately trying to control his choke point, and they're doing a good job. Giannis just got a massive kill feed. Giannis on the side of Flex just killed about 15 Seraphim members the moment that they landed. Unbelievable. That Cordy spin was crazy, Invuln.
To be honest, you know who really set that up? It wasn't even the Cordy spin. I was watching Obese. He's at the moment SNS Spear, I believe. He was able with Bellandir SNS to suck in all of the yellow team and then do a huge fear on their clump, and it honestly just set up for that Cordy spin in their whole entire team. Great play by Obese.
Yeah, it looks like all of Flex very confident right now. They do own the Riftstone, flying down to meet Seraphim in the primary choke right now. This is actually exactly what Seraphim kind of needs right now. They can come around with flankers on the side. This choke is actually really wide right here. Pit looking for another type of engage, but Flex honestly eating the front line of Seraphim alive right now. Curison on the back line, but absolutely getting eaten. There's Obese in the middle of everything we just talked about him on SNS Spear, no less, driving his way forward into the middle of everyone. Sneaky Bonk back here as well. Looks like a Greatsword Dagger. Bonk indeed. Honestly, the Greatsword Dagger POV is the tombstone of this match, and there's Giannis pushing through everybody in the middle of people right now. The MVP of the last engagement, at least in terms of overall kills. It looks like Flex is now portal camping Seraphim, and what looked like a normally close match now has Seraphim in a very bad position, Invuln.
100%. What I found really smart by Flex, of course, as we know, SNS Cordy is a very strong weapon combo. We have to be looking out for that. They seem to have definitely people hunting down, for example, Varantine, I believe, was one of the Cordy expos. We had a bunch of people just kind of hunting him down, which is great. You really need a specific squad or certain people to really hunt down those SNS expos, because if they're left unchecked, we have seen in the tournament how much damage and how many kills, and now they can swing a fight so easily. So, you know, great overall plays by everyone in Flex here.
Yeah, it does look like that Flex is actually pulling back to the stone now, as they're afraid that they're going to get the stone capped from them. There is one. Dajin and his Flex team are standing here, making sure that everything goes well on the stone. We have a morph from Falcon right now. He's got the clown frog morph on, and he's playing that wonderful accordion, the world's tiniest violin, on behalf of Seraphim right there. Oh my goodness, you love the chat BBB. It does look like Seraphim's gonna try yet another push. They're gonna get up on these rocks one more time. They're going to try for a fly down. They're saying this time, hey guys, let's maybe not get Cordy crossbowed this time, but easier said than done. They do pick up a kill on the low ground down there, but so does Marcel, as the rest of the guild kind of is being intercepted, but honestly, they outnumber Flex what looks like 2-1 down here on this low ground. Tausum goes down to back up his guys. Looks like the rest of the people are now all going down to back up their boys on the low ground, as Seraphim starts to pick up some momentum here, starts to get a few kills onto Flex. Obese and his Obese and his static group, rather, one of the most impactful static groups on Flex, and they're getting wiped right now, which is not a good thing for Flex if Seraphim decides to run up and engage very quickly here, Invul.
You know what? This might not be too bad because you're still decently far away to getting the high ground. Flex has been kind of controlling the high ground, and eventually, Abyss's group can respawn out of Portal 1 and get behind him, especially with the AoE engage that Abyss has. It's not too bad. What they're doing is actually really good here, and we can see over here is Seraphim making perhaps a little split play. We've got a few people heading towards the kind of opposite side ramp here. Will they all go there, or are they going to make a split play? There's actually a fight happening all the way over here still. Is this Abyss's group? This group over here is just stalling them quite crazily over here. Like two groups actually over here.
Yeah, it does look like they're holding them up quite a bit here. Interestingly enough, I'm seeing some interesting dynamic here with the blood devotion on the current patch. There is a debuff that you get. You can't get blood devotion for another 1 or 2 minutes after you get blood devotion the first time. But I'm seeing tanks basically cast blood devo, wait about 8 seconds, and then I'm seeing another tank in the party cast blood devo as well. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of thing that guilds are trying to use in order to extend the duration of their blood devo over time. If you use blood devo before the duration actually runs out, maybe it extends. Maybe the debuff doesn't actually engage for you. So I'm seeing some guilds try some interesting things on the new patch with blood devotion here. It does look like that for the first time, Seraphim actually does get a cap on the rift stone, but only have 10 people on the stone with 4 minutes remaining. They are really struggling to get up here right now. And I think that this is why a lot of guilds choose not to pick Manticus, but really cool to see this map. You can see just how dynamic this fight can actually get, Invul.
100%. As we can see here, the yellow is just trickling and respawning from the Portal 1 over here, trying to make up to the left side. But even when Flex splits half of their army here, half of the army can hold all the people trickling in, trying to get up. And as we can see here down the middle, once again, the same static is holding these guys down below. Like, the Flex is just looking real strong here, especially the statics. Like, individually, they look very strong.
Yeah, it's basically a free-for-all right now on that low ground, as you can see on Invul's screen. Now it looks like they're going to try. Seraphim trying to shift off to this left side, but this is the problem, is if Seraphim controls this lower courtyard here, the moment you try to dive up the ramp, the rest of Flex is going to come down here and come up the ramp after you, and then you're going to get pincered on both sides as you try to move up the ramp. So really tough position for Seraphim to be in. Their cap has ended right now. Let them go in peace. But Flex says no. Oh gosh, please no on this. Seraphim, I do believe, will move down to the lower bracket of this tournament, but getting knocked down by Flex here, and Flex showing why they might just be a top 8 guild.
If you see my screen, Blue, we can actually see a small fight that's actually happening on the stone itself. And you can see that, like, Flex just have way more numbers on top of the stone, and they're still winning the lower fight against most of the Seraphim team. So once again, just looking very strong. They can just chill up here with most of their army, while, a few of their statics can literally hold the rest of Seraphim.
Yeah, Eli down here on the low ground. Keep in mind, I do not believe this is the same Eli. I believe the Eli that most people are accustomed to and get all their goated healer builds from is in Supple. I do not believe this is the same person. But this particular person is one of the top healers of the lobby right now and doing a great job. You can see why exactly that is. Standing in a perfect position to make sure that he's healing people and keeping himself safe at the same time, while his DPS basically mops up Seraphim with impunity. On this one, the healers on the side of Flex really making a difference in this match with 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go. It looks like the best 1, 2, 3 is playing a foot pedal run Crusader up here. Interesting name for him right there. Gets pushed back in, but here comes the big push from Seraphim on the low ground. One last dish effort. We'll see if they can handle a front to back team fight. There's no one interrupting the Seraphim backline on this one, and they looked like they were doing pretty well until just now. Sneaky Bonk gets back there. Villainous gets back there. Obese is now back there, and look, all of a sudden they're just getting completely routed in Vuln.
Yeah, man. Once again, Flex looking very strong here. In general, there was something I wanted to mention, which was about the blood devotion situation that you mentioned a little bit ago. So what people are doing right now, and I'm not sure if this is intended. I don't think we've gotten a comment from the developers or AGS, but in general, what is happening is you will get the blood devotion debuff right at the end when blood devotion ends. So what people are doing is they cast one blood devotion, let's say it lasts 12 seconds, and on the last second before it ends, they cast the second blood devotion, and it resets the blood devotion in general. It will put a debuff after that, but in general, that is what people are doing right now in the meta.
See. Okay, that makes more sense. I was saying, because again, I'm seeing these people standing right next to each other, so I assume they're in the same static groups, and I keep seeing Blood Devo go off, and I'm like, I don't know why they would do that unless there's some sort of interaction with Blood Devo that is causing multiple Blood Devos to work in quick succession like that. If we look over at defeats in the lobby, it is going to be awful Flex oriented. Yukumaru on the spear dagger, Yanis on that Cordy crossbow, Nell on the other Cordy crossbow in the lobby for Flex right there. The Firebrand, you saw him. He's the one that was dancing around with the frog clown morph, playing the accordion in the middle of everything. He's playing Great Sword Dagger. I'm not sure if that's necessarily accurate, but who knows at this point. Top assists in the lobby are Jinsani on the Gladiator, the spear Great Sword right there. And again, Mana Burn coming in at number 2. A great healer right there coming in at number 2 on assists. Very impressive. Almost 1.2 million damage taken by Pestilence on the side of Seraphim. Firebrand from Flex, the second highest damage taken in the lobby. He is not playing Great Sword Dagger. I refuse to believe that. He absolutely switched his weapons to try to troll everybody. He's a ding-dong. Amount healed in the lobby, like I said, that's Eli standing tall at number 1. I'm not sure. That might be his second character, third character, who knows. But 17.7 million damage healed for Eli in that lobby. Lynthia coming in at number 2. Alaria Snow, Arenia, and Topaz Mini all in the top end for Flex. The top healer on the side of Seraphim all the way down at number 10. It looks like Trey Boshia coming in at 9.2 million damage healed. So definitely Flex favor, but I think that had something to do with the map involved.
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely interesting to see that map. I didn't expect anyone really to want to pick that map in general. And I was curious to see the strategies that Seraphim would use on that map in general. And I'm happy to see that they did try a lot of different, kind of strategies with the terrain and stuff from the start on the high ground and stuff. I was curious to see how that would have went, but in general, I believe no matter what strategy they would have done, double pincer, triple pincer, attack from multiple ways, baiting. I believe Flex is just either, more skilled, more gear, composition. Flex just looked way stronger that fight.
They did. Let's take a look at the instant replay from that last match here. This is the Flex engaged through that small choke. This is a front to back fight for Seraphim here. The best chance that they were going to get. It looks really good at the start of the fight. Look how many red health bars are on their backline. Almost none right now. And you can see the kill feed looks pretty yellow favored. But then you see the people start to get through, and look at the kill feed switch over toward Flex right there as the flankers get on top of those squishy targets there. So again, even in a front to back team fight, I do think that they look relatively dominant overall right there. But it's good fights to both teams. As we look ahead to our next match of the day, we are going to see Corrupt versus Out of Lucent. I'll introduce Corrupt because I was a part of their guild in Black Desert Online for a period of time in my Black Desert career. My boys over in Corrupt, led by Soggy on the Ivory server. Corrupt number 2 in their alliance alongside Velocity, Offline, and Polarity. Ranked number 1 on their server. 5 sieges won, and they said, I hope we get a buy so we can meet expectations. If you lose to us, your guild might die. So just like Black Desert then.
So yeah, we're actually quite familiar with Corrupt now, especially since they joined the Tier, Exodus, and Halloween Alliance. So now they're our 4th guild recently on the Ivory server. There has definitely been some changes here. But in general, out of Lucent over here on the right side from the Carnage server, apparently they are the strongest guild in the Alliance with overall strength of 4th on the server. Once again, I'm not too familiar with out of Lucent. There is a lot of the Carnage server still, right? I'm not too familiar with a lot of the guilds there in general, as I know mainly from Snowburn and Ivory from my own situation in the game. And the chat PvP is, we need Lucent, we have to win.
Yeah.
Which is fitting for their name, I guess.
Yeah, I think that honestly, definitely Corrupt is super favored here. I think if Out of Lucent is able to give Corrupt even a fight here, I think that it will be a W for Out of Lucent, getting a tough draw out of the gate to fight Corrupt in the first round of the tournament here. If you're pulling for an underdog here, I think Out of Lucent is definitely your team, but I think Corrupt heavily favored coming to this one. They were number 3 in Black Desert Online for a really long time. Now they're technically number 2, but let's be honest, they don't play large-scale PvP anymore because large-scale PvP in that game is total booty cheeks. So it is what it is, but now they all play Throne and Liberty, and they're quite good at this game too, because gamers in one game tend to be gamers in multiple games. So we'll see what happens there. Right now, we are waiting on those players to do the Arc Boss Heaven event. It is a peace Arc Boss event, guys. But we are going to be courteous and allow those players to go through with that event. In the meantime, we're going to talk about some of the other matchups that we have to look forward to today. So we're going to take a look at our boys over here. Cobra Kai versus Doom is the next match. But actually, let's take a look at Exodus versus Animal Crackers on this first one here. I'll let you introduce both of these guilds.
Okay, so I once again not too familiar with Animal Crackers. That's why I think it's going to be interesting for me to watch and see the strength of a lot of these guilds and kind of learn, especially for my own kind of gameplay on the server. Especially since I'm in the tournament, I get to kind of see what's happening here. But Exodus from the Ivory server, as I talked about previously, Tier, the guild I am in, we're still in the tournament itself. You will see our match next week or so. In general, Exodus right now is looking extremely strong. They are undefeated and they've figured out the meta very fast. They have a lot of strong individual players, and in general, once again, our alliance is quite strong. I would say probably the strongest alliance right now. In general, these Exodus guys are going to be
bold.
Yeah.
It's a bold statement right there. Do you think that your alliance is stronger than the Sep alliance? Because didn't you fought them head to head in Siege? Not necessarily the best indicator for who's stronger, but they did come out on top of that one, in fairness.
Well, Supple loves to, what's the word for it? They love to dodge and not show up to content. I don't even know if they're playing the game these days. I mean, it's unfortunate, but in general, I would say we're quite stronger because we haven't versed them. They decided to hide and go play other games or PvE, like the Supple we know. So in general, we have the other, TC Alliance on Snowburn. I'm not too sure about their strength, but like in general, Supple Alliance, our alliance, and the TC Alliance is on Nebula together, and none of those alliances showed up to Nebula. It seems like everyone is dodging our alliance for a specific reason. Man, unfortunate. Anyway, enough of that chat PvP. I'm going to talk about Exodus here in general. Exodus, I believe, can actually win this entire tournament in general, and I would be curious to see if we can overcome them. I had a prediction that Tier would win the tournament, but Exodus, man, they're looking real strong. Now to talk about Animal Crackers, now honestly, as we can see here, I don't really know Animal Crackers too well. They seem to be from Stellarites. They've won 6 sieges apparently. I don't know if these guys were previously named as something else exactly. We swear to the service to find competition. We're still waiting. If you ever think you're number 1, we'll see you in the bracket. I respect that. I mean, maybe these guys are once again underdogs, and somehow they come out of nowhere and they defeat honestly probably the strongest guild at the moment. I'll be curious to see.
It's funny, Invuln, that everybody keeps saying Supple's dodging me, Supple's dead, Supple's dog water, suck Fupple is usually what I hear. But today, our first match of the day, do you know why that didn't happen, Invuln? It would be because the guild that was supposed to fight Supple backed out because they didn't want to fight Supple. That's just how it is. It's almost like when you have to put your money where your mouth is, suddenly you just don't want to fight supple anymore. Everybody likes to run their mouths until they actually have to put their money on the table. So we'll see what happens when your alliance are the ones that have to go up against them. But you know what? It is what it is. We have Cobra Kai versus Doom as one of our other matchups for today. And Cobra Kai was called out by another guild in the tournament as well. Cobra Kai hailing from the Stellarite server. It was Cobra Kai and CPQ. Now, I don't believe is the case anymore. They don't believe they're the strongest on the server, but they won 11 sieges in their history, and they predicted that they were going to make it to the second round. I'll let you introduce Doom.
In general, like just to mention it a little bit more about Cobra Kai, I mean, I'm seeing 11 sieges won, and on the right side of Doom, we're seeing 0 sieges won, and that is a scary thing. If I was in Doom shoes, I'd be scared of looking at that number, you know, from an outsider view that I maybe not understand, you know, the strength of things. That looks pretty impressive, 11 sieges won. But in general, Doom, once again, you know, I think a lot of the teams in this bracket, once I am learning that these guilds actually exist in general, so I'll be curious to see what Doom have against Cobra Kai. I want to see if they pull out some interesting strategies. As you can see here, we're a Hispanic guild. So I'm just curious. Let's see what they can do here. They're apparently the second strongest on their server, Adrenaline, which is where we were from previously.
I love the Hispanic guilds. They are most toxic to each other in most cases. And honestly, they actually asked if they could fight each other because they wanted to fight the other Hispanic guilds in the first round. And they were intentionally placed on different sides of the bracket in order to avoid bad words being said to each other, because in my experience, the Hispanic guilds tend to be overwhelmingly toxic towards other Hispanic guilds because the way that they see it, it's like, yo, you're a Hispanic person and playing on North America, you should be in our guild, not in their guild. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they see it, which is very, very interesting right there. But the rest of us are just looking around like, oh my gosh, these guys, we thought we hated each other. These guys really hate each other. So Doom, honestly, I'm expecting great things from them. But I've heard a lot of things about the Cobra Kai Alliance, particularly a lot of people that don't like the Cobra Kai Alliance and their actions that went on during kind of the T1 scene. I don't know too much about any of that, but I do know that they do have a reputation on the scene for being a strong guild and a guild that nobody likes very much, which seems to go hand in hand with each other these days. If we look ahead to our next match of the day, it's actually going to be Take Care versus Uh-Oh. All handle Uh-Oh from the Stellarite server, allied with themselves. No sieges won. They said top 50% would be great. And I'll be honest with you, they're up against the rank 2 guild in the T1 Best in Guild tournament. Take Care.
So yeah, when it comes to Take Care, I mean, Take Care are still very strong. Now, I actually don't know, we haven't versed them recently, and honestly, when it comes to the feedback we've gotten from, you know, war games and people fighting them, it's been all over the place. Honestly, they seem like a real wild card that I honestly don't really know if they could win this tournament, if they're gonna lose it. It's, their strengths are like, it's very just random from my experience. Like, sometimes they verse again, like they beat the top guilds, and sometimes they lose against some of the, you know, lesser top guilds from what I've heard. So I'm actually curious to see what Take Care come up with the tournament, if they come up with some interesting strategies, especially with this new meta. I'm curious what the top guilds will pull out, because right now I believe Exodus once again has pulled the strongest you know, composition in the meta at the moment. I'm curious to see if Take Care can up Exodus and bring something even stronger here. And on the right side, we've even got we've versed a little bit. They actually have some strong individual players. I believe they have people from Oso and some other guilds, which were previously pretty strong. When Supple was the strongest alliance in the game, Oso was probably the strongest or second strongest guild in their alliance. So in general, some actual like strong players inside of and I'll be curious to see this match to see if can actually cause a dent into Take Care.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The thing that made Take Care so strong, and I love the Take Care boys, because they have a fighter's mentality. These guys grinded war games more than any other guild on the server for North America East. No questions asked in T1. These guys basically lived in war games non-stop. They practiced and they practiced and they practiced. And to be clear, they finished number 2 in the Best in Guild T1 tournament overall for NA East, losing out only to Supple at the end of the day. And Supple is a lot of very experienced players. No shame in necessarily losing to them there. Yeah, take care. I'm expecting a lot from them in this tournament. I think that is aptly named based on who they got in this round here. So a little rocky for them. We look ahead to the next match of the day. It's going to be Nemesis versus Gwenchana. Interestingly enough, Nemesis hailing from the Ivory server, rank 1 in their alliance with Celestius, Bunnies, and Bye. No bye round for you, sadly, here. We are the underdogs like Rudy in that football movie. And then again, we've seen Nemesis fight already before, so I'm not going to go through their chat PvP. I'll let you introduce Gwenchana again.
So Gwenchana was, when I was watching the round 1 of the NA East tournament, I didn't know who Gwenchana really was, and I believe they were they versing Privateers, if you remember, Blue?
Gwenchana in the first round fought Villainous and knocked Villainous to the loser bracket. They have moved through now, yeah, and now they're fighting Nemesis in this second round here. So we have not, actually, okay. I apologize. We have not seen Nemesis so far, guys, in the tournament. It's Gwenchana we've seen in the tournament so far. I meant to say Gwenchana there. But yeah, we've seen Gwenchana in the very first round, and we have not seen Nemesis quite yet now. But yeah, Gwenchana looked really good in round 1.
Yeah, overall, they looked pretty decent. And I'm curious to see, once again, I don't really know Nemesis too well. We're going to see Gwenchana versus Nemesis, and I'm curious. I think my bets are on Gwenchana, but maybe Nemesis will surprise me here.
I'll be honest. I know that some of these guilds have swapped servers and stuff, guys. That is what happens from time to time. They fail out their cards. They fail to update us, so it's on the leadership course to tell us what modifications they would like to their chat PvP, what alliance they're in, and what server they're in. If you see the wrong information, it's because the leadership has failed to inform us what actually is going on with them. So sorry about that. But Gwenchana in this case, I think, might be favored. But again, I think that Nemesis is a promising guild. It looks like based on their guild card. I don't know too much about them either. I think that match could go either way. And our last match of the day is going to be down in our losers bracket. It is going to be Villainous versus Awowis. Villainous, I'll introduce because these are my old homies from Black Desert Online, Blargo's boys over there, a very respectable PvP guild for very many years. I think 7 or 8 years in the BDO PvP scene, now playing in Throne and Liberty here. So from the Adrenaline server, they're allied with Silver Dawn, Days, and Arise. They believe they're ranked 2 on the server. They've won 4 sieges overall. They were hoping to win the first round. Sadly, they got knocked down to the losers bracket. But they say overall they're just a chill adult gaming community, which I can confirm they absolutely are.
Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with Villainous when it comes to the community. From my experience, they've been definitely pretty chill. When it comes to Awowis, as we can see here, they're from the server Stellarite, if they still are. I mean, guilds be swapping servers constantly. In general, they are the 3rd strongest in their alliance in general. Their alliance strength is 1st, so they are the strongest server on Stellarite, according to the card, as we can see here. And in general, world's 1st cat girl got ice. Oh, we saw a fight with them, didn't we, on the first round, right? Oh,
yeah, we did, both of them. Yeah, we've seen both of them. This is Awowis,
okay.
like Hikikomori, actually becomes stronger when you see Ayaya's spammed in the chat. So we'll see if they try to use that to their advantage. In Villainous, standing strongly on the side of alpha male gigachads, should not get stronger with Ayaya's in the chat. They can stand alone on their own there, but we'll see if Awowis is able to stand up to the power from Villainous. I do think that, again, both of those guilds look really close, and that's why there is a losers bracket in this tournament, is it gives guilds a chance to fight back if maybe they got a tough run in the bracket early on.
Yeah, I definitely respect that. Respect that there's definitely a loser bracket. In general, what I'm very disappointed is chat is not putting enough Ayayas in the chat right now. So I would like to see more for Awowis, please. Thank you.
We cannot have Awowis win this match. If Awowis wins this match, they're going to go on to fight Hikikomori in the next round.
Oh my God,
and it will
please.
be, the cuteness overload will get way too strong. They're literally, we will just have an overload of Ayayas in the chat, and both guilds will just become too powerful to even survive in the losers bracket. And those are the matches that we have, guys, for today, as we wait for the guilds to kind of get finished with their arc boss that they're currently engaged in. I'm curious. So with the current metagame, certain classes are doing a lot more damage now. And overall, I think the idea behind the patch in Vuln was that there was going to be more damage. It was going to be a less tank-focused meta, is what Tico had told us and what AGS had told us. Do you feel that that is successful overall? And then do you think that we're going to see certain classes actually shine a lot more than the previous metagame? Are there any classes that really stand out for you?
Okay, right now, and I've talked, if you guys have watched my stream before, you guys know after yesterday, especially, if you guys watched our War Game versus Exodus to really see the top guilds and see what the meta is pushing right now, in general, Spear Dagger, Staff Dagger, looking really strong, especially Spear Dagger right now. It honestly feels like we've gone back to the T1 meta, which was when Spear Dagger originally released, and that was dominating the planet, which is a bit scary, I'm going to be completely honest. And especially with the introduction of the Bloodleech aura, in general, with people becoming more squishy, the Spear Dagger definitely gets more value, but with Bloodleech aura, what it does now is every tick of a pulsating AoE that it has around it, it will strip one healing debuff. And there are around 5 pulses, I believe. So what is happening is spear players are going into the clump, and because the Seeker, which is Bow Wand, is casting most of the healing from Bow, which is the strongest part of that build, is mainly heal over time. What is happening is these spears are completely shutting down Bow's support in general. So right now, Bow is actually looking like the weakest weapon right now because honestly, they don't do enough damage. And they've been shut down by this one ability in the Spear. I definitely believe this needs to be nerfed, which can happen. I believe we, as a community, we can give them feedback, make sure it does get a bit of a nerf. I think it's an interesting mechanic. There hasn't been a way to purge buffs in the game before, so they introduced something completely new, and I do believe it deserves a nerf because wow, it is very strong. It's the big reason why we are running in a bit of a glass cannon meta right now because everyone is just dying. I'm a people know me as one of the tankiest tanks in NA, and I was getting like one shot in this new meta. So it's crazy, man. It's completely flipped from what it was.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you. Everybody wants if you're gonna choose between one, whether it's a tank meta or a DPS meta, I'm gonna favor the DPS meta. I'm gonna be just 100% honest. Because everybody wants a tank meta until they get a tank meta and they realize what that means. And that means that nobody dies or gets to have any fun for any reason. I would rather be one shot than never be able to kill anyone ever for any reason, is usually my thoughts on it. But both metas, you don't want to swing too heavily in either favor. I think that personally, I like that AGS and NCSoft have kind of shaken up the snow globe, so to speak, of balance, and now you're seeing a beautiful, all the snowflakes floating around, and then they should be able to receive feedback and nerf things over time, and as the dust settles over the course of the next few weeks in this tournament here, we should get a very clear picture of the metagame and what guilds are actually successful in that metagame. Certainly one thing to look out for is that Spear Dagger overall, but now, Invuln, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. Which guilds do you think are the top 3 in North America right now, in your honest opinion? Who do you think the 1, 2, 3 of this tournament end up being in the current meta?
Okay, so I think it's going to change pretty rapidly, but knowing the skill of players and the people that have been fighting at the moment, I haven't seen all fights, but in general, before this, it was Tier Exodus and either Hallowing or TC. I believe Hallowing was really strong towards the end of the old meta. And I actually believe my guild is versing Hallowing today. Unfortunately, I'm not a big part of that. But curious to see some feedback at the end of that. In general, I believe right now Exodus is the strongest guild on NA. And after that, I feel like it's a kind of mixture between Halloween, Tier, or TC. I'm not too sure about TC. I'm not sure if they've fought recently. We'll have to see, especially in the fight that they have today. I'll be curious to see what they're actually personally running.
Man, you really don't like Supple, huh? You didn't even mention them.
Supple elbozos, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, yeah, I've said...
Oh boy, I'll be honest with you. I am really excited to see Exodus Tier. Who's the other guild in your alliance right now? It's Exodus Tier, and who's the other one?
Halloween.
Halloween, that's right. One of those 3 guilds to go up against Supple. Y'all better win. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Y'all best be winning. Y'all best be winning.
There's a few fights that I'm so excited for. I don't know if you know about this. Do you know about the TC and Halloween beef? Have you ever heard about this?
No, let's explain that real quick.
Now there's a lot of stuff that's borderline very TOS, so I'm not going to talk about everything, but it got to some very crazy levels of beef between it's mainly like 2 leadership members. Originally Halloween, or it was called Nihawing at their I believe at the prime strength, which was a mixture between Halloween, Nisa, and I believe another guild. I think it was Filtered. In general, the Nisa original kind of leader, or the pack leader of Nisa, which it was a very strong group, had a disagreement with the other leader, and in general there was a lot of chat PvP. It got to some very crazy levels, very shit talking every moment, every fight, every breath I saw was just shit talking each other. So the TC versus Halloween fight is going to be the most, for at least the high level PvP scene. Everyone's going to be watching it. Everyone is getting ready to go to the toxic Discord to just shit talk each other. It's going to be great content in general. I'll be curious to see what happens with that fight. And also with the Supple versus our alliance in general, there is that beef between them. So like there's so many interesting fights, especially later on down in the later rounds. So make sure you guys watch the later rounds, as those will also be quite competitive as well.
I will tell you this, that in my experience, everyone always called Cho Nation a dog water guild that couldn't go anywhere. They wanted to run their mouth every time they got any sort of strength. And then when the rubber hit the road, Cho would absolutely bulldoze them every single time. So everybody likes to bark until they actually have to face the music. So I'll believe that Supple is not the strongest in North America when I see it. But for now, I think that their leadership core has shown particular resiliency. I have a massive amount of respect for them. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think Supple might just come out and win this again. But I've seen a lot of crazy good outcomes from Exodus and a lot of their matches as well. As of right now, we have both teams joining the lobby. It's going to be Corrupt versus Out of Lucent. Almost everyone is in the lobby on both sides. So let's go ahead and talk about pick ban. I'll let you cover pick ban this time, Invul.
Sure. Give me a second. I'm just joining the lobby. Okay, so, what has happened here? Corrupt seems to have won the coin toss and has chosen pick. Out of Lucent has banned. So out of Lucent, we'll go over the bans real quick. We've got Daigon, Koazan, Leviathan, Manticus. I think in general, overall, a lot of guilds have chosen to ban the Talandre maps. I'm not sure if I'm mistaken there. I've watched quite a few of the matches throughout the tournament, but I do believe the Talandre maps are definitely unique compared to Tier 1 maps. The Talandre maps include a lot of ledges, a lot of cliffs, and in general, I think people don't like that type of gameplay. They don't like falling off cliffs constantly, dying to full damage, having to run around. So I think a lot of people just want those kind of, you know, default flat maps like mmorpg, Talus, for example, as the pick is Talus. Now this is probably the most flat map, and this honestly will show the most skill when it comes to just 1v1 kind of fighting over here.
These are
so we'll see.
Dude, every single OG Corrupt member that I can think of, even Dragoon himself, one of the people that originally founded Corrupt, and then you've got Soggy in here too, is the staple guy that has led Corrupt for like the last 3 or 4 years now. Both of their top leaders are here and in this lobby. Really cool to see the boys coming together. And for one of the first times in this tournament, the entire lobby is actually all Corrupt on their side. So they haven't even had to fill with a single other guild. It is just Corrupt in the lobby for them here, versus Out of Lucent is feeling a few of their members from the other guilds in their alliance, which is absolutely something that you can do, but really impressive when we see guilds do both like this. Let's talk about Talus a little bit as a map. Talus, 2 spawn points that are really super viable, equidistant on either side of it, and it's a super wide open space where you can kind of engage on both sides. I think that Corrupt probably chose this map probably because it's really safe overall, and they think that they're probably the dominant guild in this matchup.
100%. If you do believe you are the strongest guild, or if you are the stronger guild in the matchup, you want to pick something like Talus, something like mmorpg. Any map that's kind of just flat, no really like ledges to really push off. At least most of the maps here, like Azrael as well. Azrael's probably one, I would say Talus and Azrael's probably the safest picks in general if you do believe you're the strongest guild. I do agree, that's why probably Corrupt have chosen it. So we'll have to see here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we wait for one more Corrupt member to join the lobby, it is going to be Raffle. Why am I not surprised that it's Raffle? Again, I know a lot of these gamers as I've played with them many times in the past before. We are go for this one here on Talus. It looks like Corrupt's in the yellow and Out of Lucent is in the red here. So Talus is spawning right in. Very interestingly enough, a lot of guilds like to get to the Riftstone right away at the start, so we'll go ahead and bounce right over to the live scene, see if we can catch that initial fight going on here. And it does look like that both guilds have spawned in on top of one another. It's a feeding frenzy here, and the first kill of the lobby does go over to Corrupt, and so do the next 5 to 6 on this one. Out of Lucent struggling to try to get in position, although they have a really solid front to back team fight, it looks like right here, but it just looks like they just don't have enough damage. Corrupt look like Terminators.
Yeah, 100%, man. You know what? The biggest advantage we didn't mention is that Corrupt have 2 Cordy expos over here, and Out of Lucent do not. So what Corrupt can do is they can clump up decently well without having the risk of getting Cordy spun here. As we saw, Anything was able to get a bunch of kills with his Cordy spin. It's a very big, I wouldn't say it's the biggest power swing, especially at this meta, because you can kill people with other weapons a lot more now. But in general, we see another engage over here on the opposite side here. Out of Lucent going straight for an engage, kind of honestly trickling in here. I believe they should really try to regroup here, but they are going for the trickle push. Akara going for that spin, getting quite a few kills over here. And as we can see here, one by one, Out of Lucent will fall. They need to do a regroup here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I like the resiliency so far. They've already tried pushing from the other angle to try to catch Corrupt off Tilter, but sadly Corrupt shot callers are just on top of it. They've been shot calling large scale PvP for many years, and now it's just Corrupt swarming like a group of bees on this one, as Out of Lucent, I think, goes to regroup one more time.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It does look like Out of Lucent are going for that regroup angle. They're just waiting for a few of their guys to get wiped. And as we can see here, they are spawning out the portal here. They are regrouping, which is a great job by them. They didn't just keep trickle in. That means they're, Shotcaller have control over their army over here. And we'll see the next play they make here. They're looking like they're trying to figure out the next play. Let's see what they pull off here.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like Out of Lucent talking in comms about what they need to do on the next push here, as they don't want to just keep slamming their head into the wall. Corrupt over here positioning, getting all day to get their flankers out on the side. Big Danny, one of the scouts for Corrupt, stepping forward, making sure he knows where the enemy guild is. Out of Lucent starting to rotate now. Look at this. This is really cool to see. And again, this is Out of Lucent actually has a lot more skill that I think people might give them credit for. They're at least trying something different every time they're putting Corrupt in a situation where they might not know exactly what to do here. You have Tempest Wolf out in front trying to scout forward for the opponent right there. Big Danny, again, that's the scout for Corrupt, stepping forward, trying to make sure he knows what Out of Lucent is doing. Soggy, one of the shot callers, if not the primary shot caller, certainly shot calling today on behalf of Corrupt, standing out in front right there. But you can see Corrupt already has a static. HTC Fuzzy, this is their textbook flank squad from BDO, the same guys from BDO. There's Dragoon right there, ready to come in on the flank the moment that the engage happens. Out of Lucent, kind of hoping that Corrupt comes to them, but Corrupt just not taking the bait here, Invul.
100%. I'm actually curious. Right now we're watching Akara. He's looking like for an engage with his Cordy spin. We're going to see how much damage he does right now. He's going in. He's going for the spin, and boom, anything possible. And Akara going for the double spin, wiping a huge chunk of the enemy team out of Lucent here. But there is a fight on the other side here. We're going to be going over to check this real quick. And as we can see, there seems to be a bit of a weird split fight. But once again, Corrupt are looking very strong right here, being able to wipe both sides. The Cordy spinners were on the initial fight, so they were able to wipe them a lot quicker here. And it does seem that Out of Lucent are reinforcing him from the same portal. And we're going to see right here, Out of Lucent playing kind of a slow play here. It does seem like Out of Lucent will probably need to go for another regroup as Corrupt goes for those Bulwark pulls, as Bulwark is very strong right now, being able to easily wipe the other team here. But let's see, maybe they have a different plan in mind. I kind of like the double push strategy. I commend the Out of Lucent for trying something there.
Yeah, I'll be honest, and now they've respawned. They're just running back to the other side, and Corrupt running up to meet them. But look how many more yellow health bars there are, because Out of Lucent, the rest of them all spawn. They all died at different times, which means they're all spawning at different times, which means they're all running in at different times. And it is an absolute slaughter as they run forward right there. There's Fabi, one of their top DPS it looks like he's playing Staff Bow in this case now, is basically kiting around the side of the fight, doing his best right there. One of my old good buddies on this one. At least he's played alongside of me for a very long time. Now it does look like the map has been, or the Ripstone rather, is available right now, and Out of Lucent does manage to get a cap on the Riftstone and plant 6 people on the point. Corrupt with 15 people on the point, but it actually speaks volumes to Out of Lucent being able to get in there and get that cap down for their guild.
100% here. But once again, we've talked about it before in the other matches. The first cap is actually not 100% always the cap you want to take. The second cap, I would say, in my opinion, is actually the most important cap with how the kind of game mode works itself. But something to mention, a person I wasn't mentioned was Soggy. You've talked about him. I saw him go into that backline, push it, and stun like 20 people with the SNS Spear. So it's been awesome to see the SNS Spear in general coming into the meta and seeing it do actually a lot of work here. I've seen a lot of guilds been using it pretty effectively in general, as you can build a crazy amount of collision, being able to use just completely CC the battlefield in general, which is awesome.
Yeah, there's a reason that Soggy and not Dragoon here that we see out in front as well. These boys have been following these two guys for a very long time, and it's because these are men. They will dive in with the boys at any time, and they will lead the charge themselves if they have to. It looks like Corrupt is basically designating 1 or 2 statics to handle the 1 or 2 statics on this side of Out of Lucent that have seemed to have spawned on this half of the match here. If we look over on the other side, interestingly enough, we see another engage coming down from Out of Lucent, but yeah, you see them running forward, but it's just not enough. Too many Corrupt members are here to stop them. If you look at the leaderboards in Vaughn right now, you're seeing a lot of bow staffs on the leaderboard. Do you think that bow staff has gotten, you said bow is one of the weakest weapons now in the current metagame, but we're seeing it on the in the top 5 of this match.
So to talk about bow staff a little bit, bow staff, if you are in the lead, it's more of in a certain way a win more type of weapon, or like you have to be winning to basically for it to pop off, because a lot of in the meta is a lot of weapons being able to dive on your opponents, being able to hook your opponents, and a liberator or bow staff known as liberator is honestly in the high end pretty out of the meta. So it's very interesting to see here, but I believe the only reason why these guys are on the top is because they have the space to be able to cast. If they don't have that space, they get absolutely destroyed. And as we can see here on the opposite side, the right side over here, we can see a fight once again. Red is kind of regrouping here. There's a few yellow diving in. They're getting them a little low, but once again, just wow. Corrupt going in without any hesitation over here. I don't even think all their army, and they're just completely decimating out of Lucent here. Corrupt looking really strong here, one by one. As you can see here, red is slowly thinning out here. They can get reinforcements from this portal, so eventually I think Corrupt will have to back off a little bit, just just because the respawns may get them. They're not going to spawn camp, and that's also great for us to watch. We don't want to see anyone spawn camping like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Koki, one of the only ones still engaged for Corrupt right now on the front line. He's a great sword dagger, which means he is not very durable. Gets knocked up into the air and blown away. Koki griefing right there, just basically trolling, I think, a little bit on that one. But honestly, a good look from Out of Lucent, cleaning up all of these stragglers that overstayed from Corrupt. Honestly, punish these people. They can't listen to calls. They're good for nothings at this point. You just keep wiping them for free. That's exactly what you want to do. And here comes the rest of Corrupt over the top of the wall here. And oh my goodness, that
look at those bulwarks.
Yeah, that is exactly what you want to see coming out of your guild, is everyone coming in to engage together. Although there's 5 or 6 Corrupt members maybe not listening to the calls as well as they possibly could, they were able to spawn up and come up behind the fight. So there was an advantage to that as well. But everybody in Corrupt moving together like that, that shows just professionalism in a guild.
Yeah, I respect it 100%. As we can see, even the fights, like you can see, well, anything going for the Cordy spin, getting a massive kill feed over there, man. The Cordy spin still extremely strong and honestly pretty stronger. The SNS Cordy being stronger in this meta now, especially with people being less tanky, it's completely wiping clumps. Akara also another Cordy spinner getting a bunch of kill feed over there. And in general, wow, Corrupt, man, looking real strong against Out of Lucent right now.
Yeah, so I'm curious with your opinion on Bo in the current metagame. Corrupt trying to stop anyone from capping this point right now, and successfully. So your opinion on Bo in the current meta, do you actually think that Staff Bo then, or I mean Staff Wand rather, is actually a stronger healer than Staff Bo? Because, for a long time, Seeker was considered obviously the best healer in the game, mainly because of its healing over time and the extra healing it provided through Flash Wave. I still personally think that that is the case, but I'm curious if you think that Invocator is now in a lot better position in comparison.
So it's a weird situation because Wand was also nerfed a little bit, so there's general healing, so Invocator got slightly nerfed, and in general, I really feel Seeker is really the only healer in this game that's a true healer. So even with like the kind of nerfs it has received, and especially Spear being a pretty big counter, I still believe Seeker provides the best healing in the game, and also it provides very good passives for a healer to keep their survivability up in general. So I mean, honestly, I believe Seeker is mainly playing for its passives at this point. So Bo, in my opinion, I think Bo Wand is still the best healer in the game in this meta.
I would agree, but I also think that people are blowing it a little bit out of proportion. I think that healers are still very, very strong, although their healing has been damaged here. Look at Corrupt pushing to the low ground and making a statement on that push right there. I do think that healers are still very, very strong. Admittedly, they got hit a little bit in the most recent patch and are a little bit weaker. That probably was needed because I think the healers had a little bit too, and I'm speaking as a healer, I think that we had a little bit too much impact on the fight overall. But hey, man, I could be wrong. What do I know? I'm just the tournament director at this point. I'm doing my best to try to make everybody happy. Interestingly enough, Out of Lucent is spawning from spawn point 2, which is not something that we see very often, but I actually really like this from them. They know that they're the weaker guild in this case, and it gives them a free regroup every single time. They're able to actually fully regroup each time and not allow Corrupt to basically pre-engage them before they get ready set, which I think is very interesting. A really good look for them as a guild. They've tried all 3 different spawns. They've tried multi-prong engagements. Now they're trying to spawn at point 2, which we almost never see. And honestly, normally I would never recommend, but in this case, I actually like it very much. I love what I'm seeing out of the shot calling and the movement for Out of Lucent here.
100%, man. And honestly, going back on the conversation about Seeker, also known as Bo Wand, in general, if you guys saw my tier list, there's a reason why I put Bo Wand as the best class in the game. I believe that class definitely deserved the nerfs it kind of received. Perhaps I would have done it a little bit differently, but in general, I definitely think it's in the right direction of really wanting to kind of nerf Seeker. It was very strong, and I believe, with the high, I prefer, like you said, people dying over no one dying. It's a bit more interesting in general, even though I'm a tank and. Yeah. If I'm a tank and I die instantly now, but I don't want to be biased here. So,
well, it just goes to show you the point that I'm trying to make here is they can literally not make people happy with balance. They say healers are too strong, they nerf healers. Oh my goodness, we're gonna freak out. They say that tanks are too strong and it's a tank metagame. Snoozer fest, they nerf tanks. Oh my gosh, we're gonna freak out. And so, like, ultimately, you're kind of darned if you do and darned if you don't, but I think that honestly overall the changes end up being probably a better thing for the meta. It makes the matches more interesting, in my opinion, to see good engagements get rewarded with good damage a lot of times, and good positioning, and likewise bad positioning punished with big amounts of damage is a good thing, in my opinion. I think you should punish people for stepping out of position in a big way, and that's what they have currently done with the metagame. So overall, I'd say they're probably positive for the game, but let's be honest, the community's going to complain one way or another, and Corrupt is just bouncing back and forth between two spawns right now, holding off Out of Lucent on both ends. Out of Lucent's just looking for kills wherever they can find it. Axe trying to dive in to the middle of everyone right now on that spear dagger, and actually finding some DPS right now, one of the top DPS of the lobby for his team. We talked about how Spear is really strong in the current metagame, and I would say that that is absolutely the case. A lot of people are talking about how Dagger is overtuned as a weapon, but I actually think that, again, by nature, that they're not wrong. It's those classes are always going to do the most damage because those are the glass cannon classes for the most part, because you're focusing on doing a tremendous amount of damage. Those are also the squishiest classes usually in the game as well, so there is a trade-off to being able to do that much damage. So curious what the community thinks about Dagger being OP, or if maybe that's the problem, but I actually think that the shakeup in the mid game has certainly sparked a lot of discussion, Invul.
100%. And once again, maybe it's going to be an Invocator meta. Maybe it's going to be a Spear 1 meta. I don't really know exactly what the meta is going to be when it comes to a lot of these classes. I think people are testing things and evolving their comps. I've seen some different opinions, different ideas, different opinions of, for example, evasion versus endurance, because of the idea that, for example, when we talk about Dagger, it now has access to a lot more hits, especially like Staff Dagger, or it's just, for example, Smokescreen, you get a lot more hit now in general. We have the introduction of earrings. When you combine, for example, Smokescreen giving you a lot of hits, plus the you get the back attack while in Smokescreen. With the earring, you get back hits, right? So you're combining all the hit together, and it's definitely been interesting, especially from my build, to kind of change it up and shake it up. Especially because I used to run Magic Evasion. I had to completely change my build up, and it's been very interesting, definitely.
Yeah, anything over here. One of the Cordy spinners got a really big spin up on that engagement right there. Well, we'll see how the metagame ends up panning out. Usually what I see when there's a big balance change in any game is that there's a big outcry from the community, even though the developers have tried to give them exactly what they've been asking for months. It is what it is. And then people calm down as people start to figure out how to play in the new meta game. And I'll be honest, like I said, I would always prefer a damage meta over a tank meta, because I've played in many tank metas in my day across many different games, and they are usually the least fun, in my opinion. Koki still out in front right here on this Greatsword Dagger, one of the most interesting classes, I think, to spectate in large-scale PvP, because it's very difficult. He gets another kill right there. Look at him. He's trying to select the priority targets right now. He's looking for someone to lock down. He finds another one right there. Look at this. Is exactly what you want to do on Greatsword Dagger, is you're looking for the priority targets, and then you want to lock them down. Your single target damage is really solid. You have almost no AoE at all, and you're very, very squishy. But oh my goodness, can you blow up somebody, especially in this current metagame here, and you see him jump in and help his teammates every single time. They're clearly talking to each other and calling out different things that they can do. With 2 minutes left on the clock, it does look like that Out of Lucent is going to be pushed to the lower bracket of this tournament. But I'll be honest with you, what I have seen out of Lucent in this match so far has been absolute resiliency as a guild. They have always been trying something different. Even when we've not been talking about it, they've been spawning at different spawn points, attacking from different angles. They've been doing 3-prong aggression, 1-prong aggression, 2-prong aggression, trying to rotate around. They spawn at one place, they try to rotate to another. They try to catch Corrupt off guard any way that they can. And it shows a lot of strategy. It shows a lot of potential as a guild. So even though they might not quite be there yet in terms of gear, in terms of maybe overall player skill, or maybe their mastery of the metagame isn't quite as strong yet, it does show a lot of promise and shows that they can be a very strong guild if given a little bit more time here, Invul.
100%. We all start from somewhere in general, and you know, anything could definitely be improved massively. In general, I love to see, you know, all types of guilds involving themselves in PvP when it comes to, you know, the casual guilds, the semi-hardcore and the hardcore guilds, and the, you know, the skilled, less skilled guilds. I love seeing it all. It keeps everything healthy, keeps everything interesting. In general, I would love to see these guys, you know, perhaps in the future, you know, keep practicing, especially against Corrupt here. Corrupt is not a weak opponent at all, so you know, I respect to out of Lucent for trying their best here, you know, maneuvering around, trying different strategies. But I believe Corrupt have chosen a great map because honestly, it's very hard to find any sort of maneuverability on this map, as it is pretty flat. And it is pretty easy to react to any play the enemy is making. There's no kind of cheese or anything like that. Oh my god, a huge engage from Corrupt.
Yeah. Heavy Edge getting a big kill feed right there. Interestingly enough, they're going to move down. They're going to fight Seraphim in the lower bracket, and that's why this is a double elimination tournament, is some of the weaker guilds in the tournament get a chance to play once again against opponents that they have a much stronger chance at winning against. I would love to see out of Lucent versus Seraphim. I think that that's going to be a really close match, as it was good fights to both guilds in this one. Let's take a look at the leaderboards. It's Clem and Soapy Stud. Again, that staff bow, that weakest weapon in the game, by the way, that we talked about right there. Clem doing a good job right there. Staff dagger from Soapy Stud, and then Akara on that Cordy crossbow. Then the spear dagger from Axe right there with the highest defeats in the lobby. You look over at the assist, it's Clem. Fabi in at number 2. Again, look at that, 2 bow staffs at the top on the assists right there. Really cool to see Soapy Stud on that staff dagger once again, and then Fed on the spear dagger. The first healer actually on the assist right here is Melly down here. Big props to them. Damage dealt overall, Soapy Stud, Clem, and Fabi. Once again, those staff bows coming up big. Maybe it is a win more kind of weapon, but it certainly showed up in this match on behalf of Corrupt. Anything in Heavy Edge coming in at number 4 and number 5 there. Damage taken overall out of Lucent, dominating this. Dirty, King Douglas, Ramelia, Zero Balance, and Arcturus Manx. He has to be referencing Arcturus Manx in StarCraft 2. That's a pretty cool thing if that is indeed what he's referencing there. But Dirty with the top tank in the lobby at 1.7 million damage tanked right there. The amount healed, 14.4 million for Melly right there. We saw him, one of the top assists in the lobby as well. Kinda and Dr. Creeper in force, and Teensy also doing really well as well. Dabbing all the way down there at number 6. HDC Fuzzy coming down at number 7 as well. It's very Corrupt focused. If we look down here, out of Lucent, Arcturus is the top healer in the lobby for them. I forgot to get the top tank in the lobby for Corrupt. It's Weetar all the way down here on the Gladiator. So good fights to both teams there.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, the interesting part about this matter especially is if a team does dominate pretty hard in general because of the new spear ability, removing hots and all that stuff, you're going to notice an interesting thing. Before in the meta, I used to see like healing numbers on both teams be pretty high, but in general, the team that is losing is now going to have way less healing because of these hot strips and these spears diving deep into the ball. A lot of its healing numbers are going way down. We definitely noticed that when Tier was versing, when we versed Exodus, our healing numbers, we have some of the top healers here, but their healing numbers were actually really low, just because the amount of like spear debuffs, being able to remove all those hots. So in general, but you know, once again, nice try. good resilience to out of Lucent in general, and of course respect to Corrupt because they are part of our alliance, they are our homies and stuff. So you know we love to see a W from my own personal take for Corrupt here.
Yeah, Corrupt doing a great job in that match to show up there, and I can't wait to see Out of Lucent play against Seraphim in the lower stages of this bracket. Let's take a look at our next match for the day, as we are running a little bit behind now as we were waiting for Tevin Boss there. I'll let you introduce both of these guilds one more time, Cobra Kai and Doom.
So Cobra Kai, now, I haven't had personal experience with them, but I've heard a lot of stories. There's a lot of people that dislike these guys. Like you, I don't really know the stories behind Cobra Kai. I think they have done some interesting strategies to try win. I believe they sent some, if I remember correctly, perhaps chat can even confirm this, they sent some people towards enemies guilds inside and to try to like be spies and stuff, and they've done all interesting things. Maybe I'm completely wrong, maybe I'm thinking of a different guild here, but they are from Stellarite. They won 11 sieges to Doom's 0 sieges, so once again Cobra Kai is looking very favorable at the moment, and in general I think Cobra Kai is definitely a more well-known name over Doom, at least from what I understand. And if we look over once again on the right side of Doom, we've got there from the Adrenaline server with the alliance of Doom and Exalted. They are the second strongest alliance on that server, and they have won 0 sieges. So once again from here, it's definitely looking Cobra Kai favorite, but I'll be curious to see once again the strategies and interesting composition that Doom may bring to the table here.
Yeah, it does look like that Cobra Kai is now allied with what was it, Gorilla Grip now as well, and I'm seeing Details actually fighting in the lobby with them here, who's one of the best players for large-scale PvP in Black Desert Online. So gamer across both games, so interesting. He's playing Staff Dagger in this lobby. We'll see how he does there as we wait for these guilds to kind of get into the lobby. Let's talk a little bit about how pick ban went for this one. I'll let you cover pick ban here.
Okay, so according to here, we've won the coin toss. They chose to pick, and Cobra Kai will be banning. We'll go over the bans first. We've got Matt gets Diagon, Malika, and Chernobog. Interesting, a Chernobog ban and a Malika ban. In general, I think my guild wants to, I think most guilds would try to ban, I don't know many people guilds ban Malika here, but I'm personally not a big fan of Malika myself, but in general, they have chosen to pick Talus. We're going to be seeing another Talus match. Now, if Cobra Kai, I believe, is way stronger, Cobra Kai, it's going to be very hard for Doom to maneuver around and try to take advantage of the terrain, which other maps you can take advantage of. Once again, this is a flat map, and whoever is stronger will most likely just win.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look at this match breakdown, I think that Cobra Kai definitely has advantage here based on how well known they are on the server and the players I'm seeing joining the lobby. I saw a lot of these players in the T1 tournament in one guild or another. So impressive that Cobra Kai has kind of held it together all this time. And again, they receive a lot of flack from the community. So, I mean, there's a certain amount of like game respect, game resiliency that goes on with a guild like Cobra Kai. On the other side, Doom, I think, has kept a much lower profile on this one as we wait for their last two members to join the lobby. Who are our Cordy crossbows that we should be looking out for?
So, on the side of Doom, we've got Travis and Trumpo, both with smiley faces here. And when it comes to the Cobra Kai side, we've got Alfred and Stargalus. So, in general, both teams have Cordy Expos, which is great to see. I do love it when both teams have two Cordy Expos. It means any fight can swing, depending on literally these Cordy Expos. As we know, we banned. You can only allow 2 of these in the tournament because of how strong they are and how much they can kind of swing a fight. I would say in general, they were probably more. They swung the fight a lot more crazy in the last kind of meta because no one was dying, and now people just kind of die to a lot of things like staffs and spears. But in general, they still have a huge impact and can swing a fight completely. So we'll see here. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, so do you think personally, we always say that Cordy crossbows are only as strong as the static group that is paired with them. Do you agree with that, A? And B, do you think that Cordy has actually gotten stronger, assuming that your static group is all the same strength as they were before? Do you feel that Cordy is now stronger now that people are less tanky?
I think in general they have the same strength, because if a Cordy Expo were, I might be wrong on this, but if a Cordy Expo, you know, spun in a clump, it was usually killing the people anyway. In general, I think with the amount of pressure that exists, I think it's still, you know, is the same kind of threat here. And look, now with the new meta change, which I'm very happy about, we're not just reliant on the Cordy Expos for getting the kills, basically, at least on the NA meta here. In general, yes, it is very important that the Cordy Expo has a good group, especially to escort them, because the competitive guilds will know the Cordy Expos, of course, and will hunt them down with specialized builds, specialized people that can completely shut down these Cordy Expos, for example. You know, players with high collision resistance being able to, you know, hook the Cordy Expo before it spins out of clumps. And if it's all coordinated well, you know, a Cordy Expo can be completely shut down. But if they do have a good group, especially with, for example, a Cordy Wand, which will, you know, remove a lot of the CCs, specifically, I would say stuns in general, if they have a good group to escort them in, it's way more powerful, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think that, again, Cordy kills people so fast. I mean, you don't even have a chance to really heal them. So I don't even know if the healing necessarily has too much of an impact overall. Maybe if you're a tank trying to tank the Cordy spin here. It looks like there's some problem on the side of Doom. Their leadership has been a little tough communicating with them. We're waiting on potentially the last two players to join the lobby, and they type approximately at the speed of an 80-year-old woman trying to get back to us. So we'll see what exactly is going on with that. But if we talk about Talus as a Riftstone here, I think that it starts to accent exactly what guilds want in the first round of this tournament, which is a safe map, as we talked about before. Guilds like Cobra Kai, they think that they have the upper hand here. We saw this with Corrupt as well. They really want to choose a safe map. They don't want to go out picking Manticus, for example, in the first round. But I got to give props where props due. That's the first time we've seen Manticus in the tournament. Really cool to see that. We've only gotten to see one Leviathan as well. So it's really cool to see the Talandre maps being played here in Vol.
Yeah, 100%. And I honestly would love to see more Talandre maps. I may be wrong on this, but I do believe later throughout the tournament, we are actually going to see a little bit more of the Talandre maps. I think a lot of the stronger guilds and competitive guilds have been hiding their strategies when it comes to Talandre maps, because Talandre maps have some actual real advanced strategies when it comes to the maps. You can really abuse and cheese certain kind of areas in these maps in general compared to the kind of tier 1 maps. So I'm kind of curious to see later throughout the tournament, are we going to see more, for example, Leviathan and Pequilo are the two maps I'm definitely like super interested in seeing when it comes to later on down the tournament. Are people going to really ban those maps so people can't abuse certain things in those maps? We're definitely going to see what these competitive guilds, how they can, you know, use these maps to the greatest advantage to, you know, try and win the tournament in general.
Yeah, absolutely. We finally have both teams in the lobby and ready to go. We're kicking the remaining spectators, and we are hitting go-go here as we are on Talus once again for NA East. And I'll be honest with you, this tournament is going to heat up something fierce in Rome. These guilds hate each other, man. And so seeing these guilds, especially the top end guilds, meet each other later in the tournament is going to be a lot of fun as we see all of the guilds starting to spawn in here. On this one, it looks like we have looks like Doom in the red, Cobra Kai in the yellow. Doom actually the first ones to the Riftstone. Now Cobra Kai starting to run forward in that yellow, and I gotta respect the name, by the way. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir. Cobra Kai getting in position right now. It does look like Doom's starting to stack up their healing buffs on the other side. Both guilds posturing, neither one really wanting to engage. The no man's land starting to get closer and closer. Chai gets the first pull down angel in technique. Dive forward. There's details in the middle of everything right there. As the engage starts to happen, the front lines move into each other, and Cobra Kai coming up with a lot of kills at the start of this match right now. They look invincible in them.
Red is still in the fight, though. We can't count them out yet. There could be some Cordy spin that could come out of nowhere here. They're clumped up. Cobra Kai is very clumped up, so there is a Cordy spin over here. They can wipe a lot of people here. In general, there are some kills from Red side. It is not completely over from Red side. If Red just try to keep reinforcing here, they can keep reinforcing, trickling in. I think Red need to try play survival right now. Space out. Try wait for their reinforcements to come in, then engage at the same time, and perhaps wait for that Cordy to spin the fight here. But there is still a fight. I'm glad to see there is still a fight over here. Red is really trying to hold on to this fight at the moment, even though Cobra Kai is winning here. But once again, the portal is not too far away from the fight here. So will Red be able to get the swing that they need here? Once again, they are slowly getting, a great pull, great collision from Cobra Kai here towards the backline of Red team over here. Doom. Travis, whoa, there we go. A huge Cordy spin over here to get some kills here. Once again, they're still in the fight here. We've actually got kind of two separate fights here. Red in the backline of Cobra Kai. Huge collision from Cobra Kai to clump up the Red team, and Alfred with a huge spin to wipe out a shit ton of Red over here. Red of Doom. Cobra Kai spinners doing a lot of work over here, but once again, the fight is still going. We are split between here. I think Doom may have to do a little bit of a regroup, or maybe they can keep trickling in here.
Yeah, a ton of this, and I'll be honest with you, I'm seeing a lot of ex-Digital members from the Black Desert Online scene fighting in this match. I think that these are the old Hailstorm members. There's Beans in the middle of everything as well, too. Hailstorm was... the Hailstorm is Digital from BDO over there, and now I'm seeing a lot of their members here. I do not see loads of money in here right now, but Doom honestly able to at least bring the fight to the Riftstone, although it looks like Cobra Kai has the upper hand on this one. They have dominant control. Look at that kill feed come back through for Doom on the other side here. Doom definitely able to bring things back right now. It is not just Cobra Kai one-sided favored like we saw in the last match with Corrupt. We're definitely seeing Cobra Kai take some hits in this match, Involve.
100%. Right now I've got my eyes on Trumpo. I'm waiting for that next spin. He's been collisioned. Oh my god, crazy. I think Cobra Kai has been great at clumping up Doom over here. We're just waiting for Cordy spins to clear him up. But in general, the staff said, oh my god, Trumpo going for the spin here. Alfred also going for the spin. There's spin versus spin. Who's going to win that? It seems like Yellow or Cobra Kai have won the spin battle. Stargill is going for another massive kill count over here. But Doom is not. They're still going, man. Cobra Kai, I think the big part. But oh my god, Travis going for a spin. Once again, Doom is swinging it back over here. But Cobra Kai, I believe, has been better at collisioning people together, making clumps. And this 40 spinners or AoE damage has been crazy. But a great clump by Trumpo over here. Trumpo going for a spin, but cancelled by the yellow side over here, canceling the Cordy spin. And once again, that was a great cancel. And Alfred going for another Cordy spin. These Cordy spins from either side have been crazy, turning these fights back and forth. This has actually been very interesting to watch here, as no one has been completely wiped yet.
Yeah, it looks like Gorilla Grip over here might be old Hailstorm. I'm not entirely certain because there's Oliver right there in Anxiety. They may have name changed or swapped servers recently, interestingly enough, but representing Cobra Kai in this tournament, and they are certainly looking dominant here. 8 seconds left on the clock before the Riftstone actually opens up here. 3 seconds, 2, 1. I fully expect Cobra Kai to try to take the Rift immediately the moment that this opens up. There it is, LucyBot going for that cap right there. Gets interrupted though, and this is what I'm talking about, is Doom is not going to go down without a fight. Look at that kill feed on the right side of your screen right there. Very red kill feed right now as Hailstorm, I apologize, Cobra Kai really struggles to try to secure their first cap here. Finally getting that first cap down, but once again, Doom stepping forward to go for their cap now as well, as both guilds are pretty close, although the leaderboards are very heavily Cobra Kai favored.
100%. And what I noticed from Cobra Kai is they were also doing a great job holding back the kind of trickle in from, whoa, Alfred going for another spin. Oh my God, these quarter spinners are on fire. But I am watching at the moment Mikke and a few of their static right now hold a bunch of the trickle back, doing kind of spawn camping, which is what a flex squad should be doing on these maps, holding the portals with statics and stuff. They're doing a great job holding this. So any trickle, they haven't lost the fight yet, and they're killing all the people trickling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Their percentage is slowly creeping forward here right now. 35% and climbing. Trompo rather, getting a big kill feed on the side of Doom right there. Deco Maxwell taking the opportunity, stepping forward, going for a cap himself right now to try to get Doom on the board before they cap over 50% of this stone here. Deco gets pulled away though, and again the front line from Cobra Kai doing a great job of making sure that Deco is not able to get this cap initiated on behalf of Doom. This fight is actually a lot closer than I think a lot of people realize. Only 19 people on the point for both guilds. Look how close the percentage is on the right side of your screen. Doom just cannot get onto the board is the tough thing here. Another interrupt coming in right now as the frontline battle going over to Cobra Kai, and that's what matters. This is why your front line is so important in Throne and Liberty like this. You need them to get forward and be able to secure this cap. Deco keeps getting CC'd, and no one else is there to help him cap. Finally, he has someone else step up to try to cap, but I don't think that they have the right build on Invuln. They're not running enough resistances, and if you're not running any resistances, you are absolutely going to get interrupted every time.
Wow, another crazy quarter spin here. The kill feeds have been just insane. I've been really impressed with these quarter spinners over here doing just massive work for both teams. It's not just like the enemy team, one team stomping with their quarters. It's both team turning around. But once again, like Travis over here getting some kills, a lot 3 kills over here. Travis 4 kills. Holy. In general, Red is fighting back here, and the kill feed is going just back and forth here. Once again, it's not over, but Red is clumping up pretty hard here, and I have a bad feeling what's going to happen here is that Red is going to get wiped. Exactly, Red has been getting wiped by Yellow. A lot of kills over there, but Yellow did not completely, or Cobra Kai did not completely wipe Doom out of that side. They're still holding on. Both teams relatively survivable, and this is just great to see over here. But Yellow or Cobra Kai is, they look pretty favored at the moment as they're at around 95% of the cap and about to cap the point, but it's not over. Doom can swing this fight, especially with those Cordy SNSs, and be able to get the second cap over here to hopefully win.
Yeah, it does look like that finally Cobra Kai is able to secure the point, but it took them 4 minutes to do so on this one. And again, Doom really struggling. I think their front line is poorly optimized to try to get this cap. Zahid gonna go for the cap right now. Is he gonna get it? Finally! Doom is on the board right now, and now interestingly enough, Cobra Kai cannot contribute to the point that since they are the occupying the guild, now it's on Doom to make sure that they slowly creep forward in percentage, but it's on Cobra Kai to basically snuff out that percentage. If they can get that percentage to 0, essentially they will force Doom to have to re-interact with the point to initiate it one more time. Right now, Doom really struggling to put people on the point, which we haven't really seen yet to this point. They've been very close. There we go. And finally get more people on the point one more time. Certainly they're being out DPS'd. If we look over at the leaderboards, it's 24 versus 24 on the point right now. Let's take a look at the defeats on the leaderboard. It's a whole lot of Cobra Kai. The first Doom member we see is Travis down here at 25 kills, damage dealt though. Again, a whole lot of Cobra Kai. Once again, damage taken belonging almost entirely to Doom, although we are seeing some Angel and Technique up here as well. Healers wise though, again, it is Cobra Kai favored. Doom actually doing a very impressive job considering what the leaderboards make this fight look like. You see Doom has more people on the point currently than Cobra Kai despite everything.
100%, man. And I honestly feel the Mikke and a bunch of his static are not getting enough praise here. A lot of the fight, they have been holding the portal side on my screen over here, and they have been just holding the people trickling from Doom's side, and so it has to send Doom to the other portal, and they can only be coming in from one side here. I don't believe Doom is doing as great as a job as Cobra Kai here with holding a bunch of the people respawning. As we can see here, we can see Tonks, Rename, Cars. These guys are killing everyone that kind of respawns and gives access for, Starglitz with a spin. I'm not sure, I didn't get to see that, but man, look at that kill feed. Alfred with the crazy kill feed. Look at that kill feed. Holy.
Yeah, it's another big corny spin coming through here. Oliver sticking right with details there for a long time. Now he's up with technique as the rest of Doom starts to run forward right now as they've all respawned. You see them running in, but Oliver's static over here trying to interrupt all of them. Alfred's gonna go for another big spin here. You see him waiting for the opportune moment. There's the pull in right there. We'll see if he can't get those buffs up. There's another pull right there. There's the big corny spin. Huge kill feed for Alfred right there. Oh my goodness. And that is why that weapon is so powerful in this metagame. My goodness. You don't want to say that it all comes down to one static group or even one purpose like that, or one person like that. But he basically made that push happen.
100%, man. And going back to, like, from what I saw from your screen, it seems that Cobra Kai is holding both kind of portals way better. I feel like Doom is struggling to be able to, like, trickle back in, get their reinforcements in. That's why I believe one of the big issues with Doom right now is trying to get their reinforcements in when they've got Cobra Kai holding both portals right now, and their respawns are just struggling to get in. So there needs to be maybe perhaps a huge kill feed there, but there perhaps needs to be Doom needs to perhaps send a flex squad or a flank squad to deal with the issue that Cobra Kai is causing for Doom right now, which is getting their respawns in. As we can see on my screen over here, we can see a fight going on right now, and there's around like 2 statics just completely holding off Doom from this side over here. It's insane. I think these guys are actually the MVP, in my opinion, of the fight here. Like, these guys are just stuck. Doom can't even get through here.
Yeah, it does look like the DPS on the side of Doom are really struggling to come up with any amount of reasonable damage here. As you see, Claustrophobia doing his best. This is a spear dagger user. You expect him to be pumping out. He's certainly quite tanky, but almost everyone I click on that is able to stand on the point for Doom is either a healer or a tank. They're almost their entire composition is healer and tank heavy. And that's why, again, they're not rocking a whole lot of DPS in this composition. And I think that's where the problem is coming in, is if you've focused way too hard on tanks and healers, and then again, they switch up the metagame on you in the middle of the tournament, you're in a lot of trouble because you don't have an answer right now, because their tanks are not as tanky as they were before. Their healers are not as effective as they once were before. Claustrophobia, look how quickly, once he's focused, he ends up going down on the point right there. And certainly Cobra Kai has a stronger grasp on the metagame with more damage dealers mixed into their composition. Certainly a healthy amount of tanks and healers here, but definitely more DPS.
100%, man. 100% here. And as we can see here, it just seems like I think Cobra Kai definitely the favorable guild at the moment. Doom haven't been able to get enough people. Once again, more cordy spins, huge kill feeds. I just feel like Doom haven't been able to get enough presence on the point. And once again, going back to it, it's just in general, Cobra Kai have greater map control. Doom is struggling for that map control. And I think that's Doom's biggest problem here. And perhaps it is the DPS issue here.
Yeah, I do think it is the DPS issue, because you don't even see very many Doom at the top of any of the leaderboards right now, is because they just can't. I think they came with a frontline strategy, and a frontline strategy normally does work for Talus. It's really good, but if you just don't have enough damage to kill anyone on the enemy team, you're relying on 4 or 5 members to basically make all of your plays, and they just can't. At the end of the day, you're gonna need more opportunities at big kill feeds if you're gonna make a Riftstone like Talus viable. Looks like Zahid's gonna go for another cap on the point. He's gonna get interrupted. Deco's gonna go for it. He's gonna get interrupted once again. And with under 5 minutes left to go on the clock, the feed is awful Cobra Kai heavy for Doom to be able to turn this one around. Zahid gets interrupted one more time as Jules and Mad Villains are doing a great job of policing this point right here. If I zoom in on him, you can see again, they're timing their CCs to make sure they stagger them and try to prevent them. But right as I say that, Caster Curse Doom does manage to get down another cap on the point. And again, their strategy here, and the reason why this looks as close as it is, despite what the leaderboards say, is that Doom is able to just dive onto the point. A lot of them are tanks. A lot of them are healers, which are also very tanky. They're able to get through onto the point, but not do a whole lot else.
100%, and I do believe that we are looking at a meta which is a bit more kill heavy, maybe a bit more DPS meta from my experience. DPS doing a lot of work for the armies at the moment in general, so you really want your DPS to be able to pop off, especially your spear daggers and your staff daggers. And yeah, it just, once again, DPS problem here. They're able to get on the point with their tanks, but they need the DPS to be able to wipe them. So yeah, even though I feel like this has been actually quite a decent match to watch here, like there's definitely been some great fights going on here. It's just Cobra Kai looking quite
It's a punching
strong.
bag. I'll be honest with you. It's like Cobra Kai is hitting a punching bag, and I use that as a karate reference very intentionally here. Doom is just, they just rolled on in as a punching bag, and Cobra Kai has just been beating on them the entire match long like this. But Doom is just taking it from both sides and honestly managing to get a lot of people on the point, despite the fact that they're being, for lack of a better term, massacred as they run to the point because they don't have any damage, so they just slowly die over time, or sometimes in Alfred's case, they quickly die over time. I'm not sure where Alfred is currently right now, but it does look like that a lot of Cobra Kai are clustered on the point. They know they only have 3 minutes to go here. They know that it's going to be almost impossible for Doom to flip this back the other way, but they're not going to take any chances.
100%. It does seem like, I'll be completely honest, I believe Doom should have probably sent all of their forces coming out of, I believe, Portal 1. They kept sending, people kept trickling in from Portal 3. I'm not sure if that was a call miscommunication, people were not listening. I'm not entirely sure here, but they kept sending people to trickle in, and Mike's kind of squad, as I talked about, basically praise him the whole match here. They've been holding off all the people trickling in. They have been sending most of the people through Portal 1, but in general, I'm not too sure why there are people from Doom side trickling in still from the Portal 3 side here.
Yeah, well, I think that Doom is just trying to, again, a lot of guilds just hold this. I'm gonna relate it back to Press W in the T1 tournament. Their guild name was Press W, and all they did, their whole strategy, there was no, we're gonna group up and try to push, or we're gonna put our flankers over here. No, it was, okay, we're just gonna run in and we're just gonna hold W until we fight on the point. Just like that. Alfred with a massive kill feed right there, getting a really big Cordy spin in for everybody, pressing both of those buttons with all 3 of his fingers at the same time. Very impressive work for a Cordy crossbow user right there. Absolutely obnoxious. I love it, bro. I just have to throw a little bit of shit. He makes it look easy, bro. At the end of the day, he does make it look easy. But you see, Doom is basically just trying to trickle onto the point strategy, which typically works really well in Vol. When guilds, they're really tanky, right? If you're really tanky, you can just run by anybody that's spawn camping. You can run onto the point. You have a lot of healers, so you should be healed along the way as well. But sadly, in the current meta game, it's just not working as well as I think they were intending.
100%. I will say trickling can work out, but because I believe Cobra Kai had their first kind of full wipe onto Doom, trickling in here can be a bit of a risky play, but in general, it is 50 seconds left on this stone. I think, props to Doom for keep on trickling in, try to fight here, but it is mathematically impossible to catch the stone at this point. But nice try to them.
Yeah, credit where credit's due to Alfred and his static right here. They certainly were the difference in this lobby, but I think that all of Cobra Kai has had a really good showing here. Doom, though, as well as other guilds are going to look at this and be like, okay, they're really tanky. We need to be ready to fight a tankier, heavier set guild, but Doom might try to adjust this as they move to the lower bracket with 10 seconds left on the clock. Everybody just trying to get as much damage as they can. We'll take a look at the leaderboards as things close out on this one, but one more big spin for Alfred at the end of time right there to get as many kills as he can. 129 kills for Alfred.
Wow.
Stargalus at 88. Vials at 72. Again, both Cordy crossbows at the top right there. Staff, daggers, vials, and details, respectively, coming at number 3 and number 4 right there. Damage dealt 5.4 million for Alfred and vials, and again details, and then Trompo coming in down here as well on again another crossbow SNS here. Interesting. Oh, that's the Cordy from Doom right there with some of the highest damage dealt in the lobby there. Damage taken. Bentico, Camelos 2, and Claustrophobia. Claustrophobia, a spear dagger with the second highest damage tanked in the lobby. That is not what you want. That is not what you want to see right there. I'm just gonna be honest. Oh god, that is not a tanky class, guys. I will be honest, his helmet was on tight for this fight because that guy was getting one shot, would spawn out and run out and just get one shot again, and he somehow managed to come in at number 2. It's crazy. Over Angel coming in at number 3 for Gorilla Grip, the top tank for them. Amount healed 30.5 million for Oliver right there. A phenomenal player for Black Rose in Black Desert Online. A phenomenal player in Throne and Liberty, as you can see here as well. Anxiety at number 2, Vex Blast and Shizzles at number 3 and number 4. If we look down, looking for the top healer in Doom, it's Mike Tekka Chua TL at 9.4 million. And again, it's really hard to heal when your guild is just getting blown away that quickly.
100%, man. And we actually saw there that the top players or the top killers were actually Gorilla Grip. So that was interesting to see. I wasn't too sure how many Gorilla Grip and Cobra Kai they had, but the Gorilla Grip was actually pulling their strength for Cobra Kai there. Absolutely popping off, especially those Cordy Expos. Even the Doom Cordy Expo, he was like, they lost pretty relatively hard, but in general, that Cordy Expo was able to get a lot of kills. And there was some swings back and forth. That was really awesome to see. I love it when there are swings back and forth in general. But once again, Cobra Kai looking very strong right there.
Yeah, absolutely looking really, really good. If we take a look over at our instant replay, we can see Alfred with a pretty big kill feed once again right here. And again, this was basically the story of the entire match with this Cordy crossbow. This guy's an absolute monster. I kid, but this guy is one of the best Cordys in the server. And look at that spin. Look at the kill feed on the right side of your screen.
Insane.
Unbelievable gameplay right there. And again, a Cordy is only as good as his static. So big shout out to Alfred Static for helping him make that play possible on repeat, basically the entire match. So cool, Inbone.
In general, to talk about something interesting, so as a lot of people in the NAS community, they know I host I call them the Battlegrounds, basically. It's basically to simulate war games, and I get like 4 different teams, and we all verse each other and have fun. It's mainly just for some fun PvP when people have nothing to do. In general, I believe I've seen Alfred in those war games, and he's always popping off with that Cordy Expert. I do believe he is the guy in general. So to see him pop off there and get so many kills, like big respect of how good the player is and stuff, big props to Alfred.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look ahead to our next match, and certainly this is the one that you are most excited for the day, as this is your alliance. I'll let you do the honors of introducing Exodus. I'll do Animal Crackers from this Stellarite server. They believe that they're rank 1 in their alliance. To be clear, they wanted to be called Animal Crackers because they didn't want any one guild getting the credit for their alliance participating in the tournament. So they have Quack, Pandemonium, Fenrir, and Wolves of War in alliance, but they are Animal Crackers. Guys, watch the spam. You could spam some quacks in the chat, but yeah, that's just not going to work on that one. But Quack, rank 1 in their alliance. They're just trying to spam pictures of ducks. We do have duck emotes in the chat. Interestingly enough, they're not my favorite emotes, but yeah, that's what you can do for that one. They've won 6 sieges, and I believe that this is the Flare Me alliance from BDO. Believe it or not, this is close to the same leadership, so at least there's some of the same people there. Some of my friends in that guild there. Their prediction for the tournament for Animal Crackers is top 3. They said we switched servers just to find competition, and we're still waiting. If you think you're number 1, we'll see you in the bracket, was the chat PvP that they had. And interestingly enough, they are fighting a guild that does think that they are number 1. I'll let you introduce Exodus.
Okay, I'm gonna be completely blunt here. I feel bad for Animal Crackers for the suffering that they are about to experience from the Exodus side. Exodus have shown some extreme strength, and I'm honestly really scared of them. We definitely, like, especially my guild, we have to figure out how to fight them at some point when we hopefully go against them in the tournament. But besides that, Exodus from Ivory, part of our alliance, the Tier Hellowing, Exodus, and Corrupt Alliance, which we had a bit of chat. We talked about how, I mean, actually we are the strongest alliance on the game. But anyway, Sieges 1, it says 1, you may be thinking to yourself, wow, Animal Crackers, 6 sieges. I mean, these guys, Exodus, are going to surprise everyone of how strong these guys are, and these are the guys to beat. These are the guys you want to be countering right now. And I'll be curious if Animal Crackers maybe actually will come out and defeat Exodus here. I'll be very curious because they are talking themselves up here in general with the chat PvP.
Yeah, yeah, they're talking themselves up indeed. To fight Exodus right out the gun is kind of a tough draw, but hey, man, you asked for it. At the end of the day, I will say, to the credit that you say that you're the strongest alliance on the server, you guys only have 3 guilds in your alliance, right?
No, it's 4 now. It's 4. It's Corrupt. Oh. Corrupt is in our alliance now.
Oh, Corrupt is in the alliance too. And who won Siege last week against you?
Some Elbow guild. I forgot the name.
Yeah, I was curious. Their name is actually Supple, so I was just going to go ahead and say Scoreboard Bozo. At the end of the day, just had to throw that one out there as we look over toward our versus screen. Let's talk a little bit about pick ban on this. Exodus won the coin toss. They chose to pick. Animal Crackers is banning. They chose to ban Talus, Morokai, Azrael, and Manticus, the choice. And for the second time in this tournament that we've seen so far, we're seeing Grand Alon.
Holy, Grand Alon. I you know what? I actually really have some great memories from Grand Alon. I actually, weirdly enough, I'm not sure how I'm not sure how many people like this map, but I actually really personally like this map. I know I like the location a lot, and it's very interesting to see. I'll be curious to see how Exodus actually play this map. Just to learn a little bit, to see the strategies that these guilds will come up with for this map specifically. Have we seen this map at all during the tournament?
We have seen it once. We saw it in Toxic versus Tengu in the very first match of NA East. But again, that was a 12v12 though, for fun. It kind of there. And we saw Toxic move on, and then the moment that they had to fight Supple, they said, never mind, we don't want to, in that regard. So this is the first time we're actually seeing a 48v48 on this map, and we are ready to go. Sadly, we spawn in Narnia on this map as spectators, so make sure you try to get over there as quickly as possible. Ultimately, guys, this map comes down to there's a lot of choke points, and having point control is extremely important. Animal Crackers talk a big game, but is Exodus going to just eat them as a snack? We will find out in this one. A lot of people think that Exodus might just be the strongest guild. I mean, you said potentially in the world right now, interestingly enough. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. This will be one of the first times I have gotten to see them play at all on this one. As I'm telling my tournament director, there we go, to hit go on the match. But we're about to find out just how strong Exodus actually is at the end of the day. I'm on my way over to the Riftstone as we pan by the beautiful scenery of Throne and Liberty. We're already seeing Animal Crackers spawn in. They're at a dead sprint for the Riftstone. Are they going to beat their opponents to the Riftstone? On the other side, there's Exodus right there. They're going to meet each other on the ramp. It does look like Exodus finally gets the slightly the better hand of this one, but it's very difficult to spectate this fight as half of it is happening in the woods, half of it is happening on the low ground. It's back and forth, but really, it's Exodus wins some. Animal Crackers almost win others. Exodus clean sweeping through most of Animal Crackers. Frank just having a field day. W's in chat for Frank. Oh my goodness, there's Megatron right there. Oh my gosh, I would not want to be fighting Megatron.
Dude, that guy's scary, man. He's a lot of damage. I've played with him in arena and stuff. That guy is a very individually very good player in general. I definitely don't want to fight Megatron. His name even sounds menacing. I don't want to fight Megatron at all. You know, that's pretty scary, man.
Yeah, oh, they're too. Oh, Exodus is chat PvPing them on the portal. They're saying, Animal Crackers, this portal is taken. Please leave. As Animal Crackers chooses to spawn in a different portal, it does look like Exodus moving back to the stone to exert dominance right now. Holy moly. Well, that engage did not go as well as Animal Crackers was hoping on that one, Invuln.
Yeah, 100%. Right now I'm actually just watching Frank. I want to see what Frank does the next fight here, because Frank, I'm actually scared of this guy. This guy's a strong Cordy Expo player. We're gonna see him going to morph in over here, and we're gonna see him engage here. We'll see if he gets the dive. I've lost him. Here he is, right here, and he's gonna go in for the engage here. And once again, the spin from both the Cordy Expos, doing huge wipes, fiercely going in. Holy, that's a stomp and a half. Oh my god, they're getting completely wiped, but Animal Cracker still alive. Perhaps they can get some reinforcements from the portal over here, and perhaps maybe they can get some kills here. But once again, I don't see any red. All I see is yellow right now.
Yeah, so Perk on the side, we did see some red. I happened to be spectating the one member of Exodus that ended up going down on that push, a crossbow dagger. It looked like he had a good angle on the fight. He was like, oh baby, this one's gonna look really good. And then Perk literally comes in and immediately gets tombstoned. It wasn't even remotely close. He got one shot immediately by a great sword dagger. The gameplay was incredible. Absolute tragedy coming in for him right there. But thankfully we had your perspective on that one too. So we'll see. Animal Cracker's gonna have to mix it up to try a different engage here, because Exodus is certainly finding beautiful engagement after beautiful engagement on this one. And you gotta be certain that Supple, Tier, and the rest of the guilds that are competitive in this tournament are taking a look at this replay going, okay, who do we need to look at right now? And right now it is Frank jumping up and down in front of everyone. You look at the top kills in the lobby. It is again another bow staff user on Zero. Sorano coming in at number 2 on a staff dagger. And then Gladiator from Odie in at number 3 here. It does look like the Ammo Crackers has spawned in one more time on this portal over here. They're swarming. They're actually trying a different approach. They're going to go a different way. A good shot calling here from Animal Crackers. So no, you do not have the upper hand in this fight. You don't want to get jumped on an engagement too early. And look at Exodus chomping at the bit right now to try to engage this squad. Animal Crackers gets everybody spawned in. They're looking good. They have some people up on the high ground. Looks like the whole guild is trying to take the grapple to the high ground right now, and they do manage to get up there. But again, look at Exodus coming around the backside of the fight right now. There is one static running for their lives. Odie, you gotta run. Boys, we've been spotted. We've been spotted. The Exodus static gets pulled right back in, and they are in a lot of trouble. Probably calling for their guild to come help them right now, but they are getting ripped apart. Animal Crackers taking down the flankers on the side of Exodus before the fight even starts. Beautiful play from them right there. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that, guys. Accidentally hit the wrong button right there, but that's okay because the engagement is going exactly how you might think it is. Fiercely, a massive kill feed right there as they try to push into the main ball from Tier and just get absolutely Baja blasted.
You know, it was crazy because we saw that group, the 2 statics that got caught out from Exodus and Animal Crackers were able to get some kills here. I don't know if Animal Crackers were intentionally doing that, but in general, you know, Exodus thought they'd be smart by splitting off from the main ball, going for a wide flank, thinking they would push up the ramp towards the stone itself. But instead, Animal Crackers may have scouted them, went up the grapple and charged and did a great play and took quite a bit of a static out. That could have been a disaster, but in general, the main ball of Exodus is just so strong that even with that great play and great shot call and the advantage they had, once again, oh, I see some chat PvP. What is that? What's happening there?
I don't know. I wasn't in range. I was gonna talk about Croft here for a moment. This is the tank of Odie's party. Usually some of the top DPS that you see in Exodus right there. You can see those are his top, those 2 DPSs right there. This is the tank for that static group. You see them moving around the side of the fight right here, looking good. And he always pops Blood Devo at just the right time and buffs. Look at that beautiful engage coming in for Croft Static right there. A great flank. And that is why Exodus is so strong. The main ball is doing one thing. The flank team is out there making sure that they are in position to play off of the main ball. And that was beautiful coordination right there. The heavy hitters, indeed, chat, coming in on the side of Exodus, making a statement for Animal Crackers here.
In general, I've loved the kind of maneuvers that both guilds have been taking around this map. I thought that the fights would be around the stone mostly, but it's actually been in places I've honestly never really fought in when it comes to the stone. Up these hills, around these mountains and stuff, there's been a lot of maneuvers. It's made this kind of fight quite interesting. Unfortunately for Animal Crackers, you know, they're definitely, once again, fighting, in my opinion, the strongest guild in NA right now. So I do, you know, give a congratulations on their resilience here, but there might be another fight going on right now. Exodus have that cocky attitude and going straight for it fiercely, and Frank going for a spin and wiping basically most of Animal Crackers. Animal Crackers scurrying around, surrounding the fight, but are now going to get thinned out by the rest of the ball from Yellow. There was one kill from Animal Crackers, but once again, Exodus looking extremely strong, wiping the rest of Animal Crackers here.
Oh my gosh, PETA, look away on this one. This might be animal abuse. Exodus coming out looking really strong in this one. Animal Crackers, to their credit, they're trying different spawns. They're trying different angles. They're rotating around. They're making sure they get grouped up. They're not just trickle spawning, running in and getting farmed. They are doing what they can. So the shot caller from Animal Crackers absolutely is doing a great job given the position that he and his guild are in. Oh my God, no way. They're just going to take this grapple up. Oh God.
This is crazy. This is crazy. They're going to get punished. They're going to get punished.
This is madness. Exodus in position to punish the grapple play. And that is not what you see. I want to see is Megatron collapses down on the entirety of Animal Crackers right there as they just eat them for a snack.
Man, that was crazy. You know, once again, like Animal Crackers, every time they maneuver around, they made a completely different play and ran around for the stone push this time. But once again, Exodus are really, you know, they got their eye on the ball. They reacted pretty fast over there and were able to punish Animal Crackers before they tried to make that play. And now they're respawning from the portal over here. But once again, Exodus got their eyes on the ball and they're reacting very fast, wiping them before they're able to do a full regroup or make a full play over here.
Yeah, they're honestly like that. This is why you have to. I think it was a kind of a bait play to try to get all of Exodus to kind of come over to this spawn point so that Animal Crackers could spawn at a different location. You see them spawning one member in at each spawn point. Black Wicked scouting out here, making sure that this spawn point is okay for the rest of his guild. There's Odie there to scout it though. Oh gosh, look away. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
It was a slaughter right there. You could hear the screaming from the caster booth up there. The rest of Animal Crackers saying, okay, nothing is safe. Nowhere is safe. Exodus owns everything the light touches is their kingdom in this match as they are spread out everywhere. I can't even find a safe portal for them to spawn at right now. They're trying to pull Exodus out of position so that they can find a portal spawn. They do manage to find one. They're trying to get up the grapple before they get around here. Oh my God, look at all half of the guild is gonna get eaten alive. It's like watching the White Walkers come after them in what was that episode of Game of Thrones where they're all just trying to get on the boats and the people left behind all get eaten by the White Walkers. It's the same thing right now. Exodus comes up to grapple.
Bro.
Everybody else just running to the best of their ability to get to the rift point right now. And they do actually manage to get here. And they're like, okay, control the choke points. They're like, what choke points?
Oh my God, Frank!
Goodness gracious. Again, honestly, you gotta give Animal Crackers credit, man. They are doing what they can given the situation. Poor Zappy right there gonna go down with him. Alvin gets really low on this SNS spear here. We'll see if he can catch a heal. Sure enough, does. And again, that's what makes Exodus so strong. Those healers doing a great job. Of course, everything makes Exodus strong. These guys certainly one of the tournament favorites. If you're looking at this again, Animal Crackers believes that they have it in them to potentially be number 3 in North America here. Exodus showing up and saying, no, just so you're aware, we are going to be number 1. So you are fighting over 2 or 3. It is possible, but unlikely. As they all take the grapple up one more time, but Izuna and Teapot and Thana are up here waiting for them. See if they can manage to get a couple kills, and they do on this one. Animal Crackers fighting from the high ground. Everyone on the low ground being slaughtered like cattle down there. PETA needs to look away as the grapples start to come up from Exodus. They don't care. They're going to make it up this grapple. Croft doing what he can in the middle of everyone to try to keep his Blood Devo and his boys happy right now. He's waiting for a heal from his healer. I'm not sure he's going to get one, though. The rest of Animal Crackers starting to thin out now at this point. Another good attempt from Animal Crackers, but just too strong from Exodus.
100%. And if you see my screen over here, they're actually respawning and heading to the stone for the other portal right now. Red is going for a stone play. Now, this could be actually okay because they can hold the chokes over here towards the stone. If they get all their respawns and regroup here, what will they do? I'm curious to see if they hold this choke over here.
Here comes Frank, though. You can hear dun dun.
Oh, Frank, stop him!
Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun, and the rest of them all come collapsing in. There's Exodus. There goes Frank into the middle of everybody right there. Odie gets a big kill feed on this side too. Blast getting a piece of the action. Sieg in there too. There goes Megatron. It does look like Frank honestly just saying, okay, there's nothing left to eat here. I'm gonna go see where they're spawning next. As he leaves right there, but holy moly, dominance in this round.
It's crazy, man. Like, honestly, Exodus have so much confidence now at this point. They're not even playing that well, just they're so individually skilled and have, like, the right composition that they're just going in, trickling in and wiping. You know, they could probably fight, like, 5 to 20 and still wipe them. Individually, their statics are just so strong and their builds that, like, they can do whatever they want. They roam around the map, they can split over the map and probably just win the game no matter what. It's the amount of strength we see from Exodus is crazy.
Yeah, if we take a look at the leaderboards to see just who is overperforming here, 2 million damage dealt from Zero, Odie, Sorano, and Ark, and Ensign right there. Damage taken. You see Pandemonium for Salumi, Kleino, and Noodle doing their best, and then Quack in there as well. Those are all Animal Crackers members. Exodus owning the healer leaderboard. Gnarly Gnar, Mbiboo, and Epigonzo, and Bowser, Purple, and Gdax at the top of the leaderboards right there. Animal Crackers making a play for the Riftstone. They do manage to get into position before the rest of Exodus actually makes it back here, but I'm not sure they're long for this world, Invuln.
Yeah, man, once again, respect. They keep trying to do different plays, and they did get some kills with them from Forest over here. They are really trying their best, and occasionally they do catch them off guard because Exodus are just so overconfident right now. But in general, it doesn't matter. Even if they're so overconfident and take a few losses here, the rest of their board will just take over and wipe the rest of them. But once again, Animal Crackers, honestly, whoever the truck holder is, I'm not too familiar. I think he's doing a great job, in my opinion. It's just, unfortunately, I think individually, just perhaps the gear, the skill and everything, it's just not up to par compared to Exodus.
Yeah, sadly, just not going to be good enough. Although I'll be honest with you, I'm interested to see how Animal Crackers does in the lower bracket of this tournament, as it does not look like they're going to be able to bring it up to make it happen in this match here. Definitely the stragglers from Animal Crackers. This is what you get for being punished. You get punished for not listening to calls on time. They're just late to the call right there, as the rest of Animal Crackers getting mopped up too quickly by Tyr. Sovwing, the Soul Scout here with Alvin and the rest of his chipmunks on the point right over here, waiting for, again, to call anything out if Animal Crackers might try to take the point. Ovi, basically all 3 portals being camped right now. Animal Crackers in a bit of a bind. Invuln.
Yeah, it's definitely rough in this situation. As we can see here on my screen, we can see there's even another group with Odie from Exodus. They're holding this portal over here as well. They're all respawning. Oh my god, this might be insane. Wait, no, the reinforcements from Exodus coming in over here. So if these guys survive, it's okay. And once again, the tidal wave, as I believe the main ball of Exodus is very strong, coming over to just wipe them. Great bulwark pulls from Exodus. There's a few kills on the red side here. We got some from the high ground casting, free casting down. Perhaps that's where the kills are coming from here. But in general, yep. Exodus were quick to react to probably Odie or whoever is calling from the Exodus side to come over quick.
Yeah, doing their absolute best in this lobby to make anything happen, but Exodus just way too strong. And I know, even though they might not want to admit it, you look over at this as some of the other guilds on the server that are competitive here, they might not admit it out loud, but they gotta be at least a little bit scared of a performance like this.
100%, man. Like, even I'm scared, and we were, I'm scared of these guys, and we were regarded as the strongest or one of the strongest guilds on the server, so that definitely means something. And once again, respect for Animal Crackers for trying, maneuvering, going around. There's just not much you could do in the situation, especially when Exodus literally have full map control. We have like multiple fights happening on the stone. We have a fight happening out in the forest here. And honestly, there's probably a static somewhere else just chilling, scouting around. But red seems to be spawning from the opposite side here. I'm not too sure which portal. I think this is portal 3. They are trying to go towards the stone here. Let's see how Exodus react to this once again. I believe the title of Exodus, they're going to probably go quite aggressive here. As we can see, a bunch is running out here. They see them. They see red. They're gonna be dead. They're charging out instantly. A bunch of their statics. Maybe they're just letting the statics fight them to see what happens here. I think, honestly, they could go aggressive here and wipe them. But we're going to see one static versus all of red here, and once again all I'm seeing is yellow names pop up. They haven't been able to kill a static, but they're backing off towards the stone here now.
Yeah, absolutely. With only 2.5 or so minutes left remaining right now, at least Animal Crackers was able to initiate a cap on the point for this one. Exodus not able to secure a complete shutout, but Grand Elon, not the stone that you really want to be fighting these guys on, man. These look like Terminators for all intents and purposes. A lot of them standing here waiting. Only 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and I think they're going to let Animal Crackers try to come to them. You see them standing, a lot of them standing on this rock over here, kind of wondering exactly what they need to do to try to even get inside on this one. Is a gladiator, a spear greatsword user. They do manage to actually find Perk again. That's that guy I was following again, the crossbow dagger user. Sweep the leg of Exodus a little bit. Perk getting absolutely tombstoned on repeat in this match. You hate to see that. What a goofball right there. So the rest of Animal Crackers rotating around now. They're trying to group up with each other.
Yeah, there seems to be Ark actually just got around 8 kills on Exodus. Like, there seems to be there was 2 separate fights happening over here from the lower ramp down here and from up the top. But Ark actually got a lot of kills there. I'm kind of curious. I think Exodus are actually letting them fight. Like, the half of their squad let them fight there, and they're just kind of chilling. Okay, they're all coming in now. There's
a lot of chat PvP going on the side of Exodus, which is interesting because their leadership said that they don't like chat PvP very much on the cards when they filled out the application for the tournament. But I've seen more chat PvP from their members than I have seen from anyone, so it's possible that there was some beef between these two guilds here, and now that Exodus has put down the hammer, so to speak, yeah, now they're just kind of letting them have it.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. I like, when I mentioned before this match started, I really like this map. I think this map has got super dynamic ways to move around, especially in these mountains here. And I think it's been very interesting to see the kind of movement from both guilds, especially Animal Crackers here moving around, trying to find the play, trying to find a way to win here. I just think I'm just a big fan of this stone in general. It's been very interesting for me to watch personally.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Normally, this is not how this map plays out. I mean, most of the time,
100%.
It ends up. Most of the time, there is no mountain gameplay. There is no other gameplay. It is just on the stone, and you see guilds trying to dive through the various choke points. But Animal Crackers not strong enough to even get to the choke points on a regular basis here. So we are seeing them fight out on the terrain, which we've not really seen very much of out here. There's the time call right there. Top kills in the lobby belonging to Odie and Zerog, Sieg, and then Iaiko. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. Sorano coming in as well. It looks like it's a spear greatsword user at rank 1 on that, and then a bow staff coming in at number 2, and then a greatsword spear coming in at number 3, and a staff dagger at number 4. Right there. Looks top assists of the lobby. Zerog again. Zorna, more of the same. Ensign coming in at number 5. Right there. Damage dealt in the lobby. 3.4 million damage dealt by Ark. And honestly, that's a Quack members. That's an Animal Crackers at the highest damage dealt in the lobby. And then Wolves of War Techno Droid coming in again, also at the top of the leaderboard for Animal Crackers as well. Zero and Odie coming in at 2 and 3. So interestingly enough, Animal Crackers finding a win here, getting a lot of DPS done against this Exodus squad, despite the fact that they were getting roughed up most of the time. Hairy Feet. Oh boy, here come the sniffy emotes in the chat. Hairy Feet, the top tank of the lobby. Salumi, Fatty Cruz, and Izzy Boy coming in at 2, 3, and 4. The amount healed in the lobby, 34.5 million for Gnarly Gnar. We were following him for a while. MB Boo, AP Gonzo, Bowser, and GDAX, and Purple, all the top healers of the lobby, all for Exodus. Let's see who the top healer on behalf of Animal Crackers was. That would be Parriot, and then Kent there. Let's try and do my boy with the crossbow tagger a little bit more justice here. Perk. Okay, Perk all the way down. Okay, Perk. All right, Perk just didn't have the best game, but you know what? I like Perk. Perk's a homie. You know what I mean? Like, it's maybe he didn't have the best game, but it is what it is. Could happen to anybody.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I would say in general, I do believe back when I used to run the Alliance FTP, I think Perk Taker was one of those yappers that I believe he was shit talking my Alliance. He was a bit of a shit talker back in the day. And in general, I'm not afraid to say that he looked like a bit of a free kill that game. And in general, he looks like just like a free kill general. So, I mean, I don't know if Perk Taker, I don't know what's happening exactly that match, but you shouldn't be, when you're stomping, you shouldn't be dying that much. I'm just putting it out there.
Okay, Perk, I like you, buddy. I think that you did great. And now I sound like I'm patronizing him, like never mind. Like he's some sort of politician at this point. All right, screw it. We're gonna look at our instant replay from that last match as we caught a beautiful flank coming in from one of the best statics on behalf of Exodus right here. You can see me looking at the leaderboard, but there's Croft right there with his static all grouped up, and they come up behind this fight, and all of Animal Crackers is looking the wrong way. Look at the engage come in, perfectly pre-buffed. There's the rest of Exodus on the other side of it, and that's the coordination that I think really is a testament to just how strong those boys actually are. Do you think that Tyr could actually beat Exodus?
It's hard to say at the moment. The power the power is shifting, like in general, especially when people are trying to figure out the new meta, people are trying to figure out the right comp, the right gear. There's a lot of talk and a lot of theory crafting going around right now. For example, we have a private chat for our guild that we're talking about all these different strategies. We're spending hours and hours trying to figure out the best way to approach stuff in general. So, you know, like us and all these other top guilds like Exodus, we are putting in hours and hours to try win this tournament and try to think of new strategies and stuff. So we're definitely in the work. We'll see what happens. It could change next week. It could change to the next day. We don't know. We'll have to see.
It is certainly my pleasure to be putting on the tournament that makes everybody so excited to play the game. It's honestly it's like near and dear to my heart to hear that players are playing the game more and love the game more and are being competitive and sweating and all working together more because I'm hosting a tournament. Because let's be honest, this is hundreds and hundreds of hours of my time. If you put the amount of time that I spent trying to coordinate this tournament towards my gear, I'd have more gear than you, Invul, I swear. On God, I would have. It's not even close, and it's not even close. Sadly, you have to choose one. Either you have to make the content for the game, like the tournament, or you get to play the game. I have chosen to make the content for the game, and that's just the way that I stand. And that's what I get out of it. I love to hear that guilds are having a great time with the tournament. As we look ahead to our next match, we have another banger for us here today. The first time that we're going to see the Take Care Alliance in this tournament. Take Care from the Snowburn server, rank 1 in their alliance with Dwagon, Flex, and Velocity. Rank 1 on their server in the Best in Guild T1 tournament. They finished 2nd overall in that tournament. And again, these guys have done more war games than anyone in probably the history of the game, I have to say. At least in North America, I can speak to at least. These guys They just do war games. This is what they do. They're constantly analyzing VODs. They're constantly seeing how they could get better. These guys are the real deal. The prediction for the tournament is top 3. We're a humble mobile game guild, which means they must be playing one of the new mobile games like Valhalla, or maybe one of the other like Final Fantasy mode. Who knows? I don't know nowadays, but I'll let you introduce.
Just to finish off Take Care in general, I do, once you mentioned about them wargaming all the time, I have big respect for Take Care. They are grinders. They, like, especially in the past, you know, they fought everyone. They had no fear, just, like you said, war game after war game, trying to get better. So I have big respect for Take Care, even though we've had a bit of drama with them, with our alliance versus their alliance, but that's okay. I still have big respect for them. On the other side, so these guys, I think they've definitely got some very strong players, but in general, I'll be curious to see how they go up against Take Care. I honestly don't know the strength of that much. I do believe Take Care is definitely favored in this, but I'll be curious. I think have some hitters, and I would love to see how they do against them. They haven't won any sieges. I believe they're more of a kind of newer guild. They're not probably part of any alliance, at least according to the board here. And they said top 50% would be great. So, you know, humble, but maybe somehow they're gonna pull out a win here. I don't know how likely that is, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, we're gonna see as we look over at Pick Ban. I'll let you go ahead and handle that since I got to handle it last time on this one.
Okay, so Take Care has won the coin toss. And as we can see here, they have chose Pick, and has chosen Ban. The bans are going to be Leviathan, Manticus, Pikillo, Morokai. Mostly, once again, the Talandre maps. A lot of people really like to ban those maps, especially Manticus, Leviathan, Pikillo have a lot of ledges, can be very awkward to maneuver and stuff. And the Morokai, which is the interesting ban. But in general, the pick is Talus from Take Care. I believe Talus is chosen by Take Care because they believe they're the stronger guild. Once again, I think it's the safe pick. They believe they're way stronger than that. So that's why Take Care have chosen Talus. And there's something I also do want to mention is the Cordy spinners. As we can see here, Spinka, Ryu are the Take Care spinners, and Zling and Grim from So both teams have double Cordy spinners. So hopefully it's going to be interesting and could be quite swingy in both favors.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Definitely fighting a David versus Goliath story here in this matchup. They could come out and surprise all of us. They do have 2 Cordy spinners and what looks like a full lobby of players here. 48 versus looks like 48 here on the side of But again, Take Care with as high as they placed in the previous tournament. I think it's a bit of an uphill battle. On that side, I'm waiting for the ready check. Are we ready to go on this one? Talus, an interesting map, but it is a safe map to pick on the first one of this one. Take Care doesn't want to risk anything going into this since they won the coin toss. They can make sure that they pick a safe map here. And again, it's funny that banned basically all of the Talandre maps. A lot of guilds, some guilds actually do like the Talandre maps, but a lot of guilds don't like them because they're newer and there's a lot of risk that goes into them, and they're not certain that their guild knows how to play on them quite as well as the other maps.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know, Talus, for me, Talus is not a crazy maneuverable map, like I said before. And I don't know, I think Take Care definitely gonna win this. And now they're 48 out of 47 on the other team. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Yep, you're good. We are waiting for one more person to join the lobby here. Talus certainly the go-to for a lot of guilds in this tournament. Looking ahead at this match again, Take Care. I'm seeing a lot of familiar members in Take Care. They used to be 4 guilds, if everyone remembers correctly. When Throne and Liberty started in T1, a lot of alliances were 4 guild alliances, and now most all of them are down to 1 or 2 guilds at maximum. Very rarely do you see all 4 guilds in an alliance having the same name like Chaos does on the EU server over there. Okay, we are go for this match real quick here. It is the lobby is full and we are ready to go. Certainly their work cut out for them as we spawn into Talus yet again for North America East right now, the first round of the bracket for Take Care here as we move over. Both guilds again always spawning on this spawn point at the start. The invulnerabilities are wearing off and the guilds are starting to clash with one another. We did see some kills right there, but is correct because Take Care in the feed right now. There's battling back a little bit right now, getting a few more kills back on this. Welcome back, Invul. Getting a few more kills back at the start of this fight, but definitely Take Care favored.
100%. But have not been completely wiped here, and they can keep reinforcing here, and there can be a swing from the Cordy Expo as we see Goldfish double kill here. It's not completely over here. This is looking like an actual decent fight here. And we'll see what happens. Once again, right next to a portal. The trickling, the brawling, anything can happen here. But once again, Take Care is definitely taking this fight at the moment. But as we can see, a lot of yellows, Ashy B, a lot of kills there. Hiatus, a lot of kills.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you right now. It's actually impressive. Has pushed Take Care back to the choke point here. Take Care not able to assert that much dominance over them. We're definitely seeing some kills come through on the side of but the problem is now Take Care is ready set. You see all these statics very safely working with one another. The healers are all in back. I'm watching one of them Nocturnal right now. All the healers in a super safe position. The tanks are right next to each other. The DPS are calling out their targets right now, and on the other side are just dying a little bit too quickly. Their statics can't get ready set and stand next to one another, and it starts to snowball on you very quickly in a match like this, Invul.
100%, man. And once again, I think Take Care just really needed to get in position here to get the statics in the flow. Once the initial fight is a little bit chaotic, and Spin Card with massive kills there as one of the quality spinners from Take Care in general, and Sample a lot of kills, and now they're slowly just snowballing after a few wipes from the quality spinner and just spears and staffs in general. But yeah, once I feel once Take Care got into the groove of things and the initial messy fight was over, it's looking like Take Care is actually starting to really become dominant here. I think may have to take a different approach right here and perhaps spawn at the other portal to a regroup and try to take another fight. And we'll see what happens from there. But they do keep trickling in for me, and maybe there will be a regroup. We'll have to see here.
Yeah, Para does manage to get out. This is one of the top kills on the side of Take Care here. He manages to get out, catches a heal from his healer, and then moves back in, and that should show you the static coordination on the side of Take Care still as top notch as it's ever been. And to get over to the other side, as it looks like is trying to regroup on the other side of the fight. On this one, Enzo right now looks this spear greatsword gets slept right on his way in right now, but Take Care is able to pivot very quickly. Ryu with a huge kill feed on the side of Take Care there, definitely pushing the lobby in Take Care's favor.
100%, man. There was a bit of a stare off right there, and a bit of a slow approach. Wasn't really aggressive, just a slow push from either side here. No one too deep, but now Take Care is starting to snowball this. Their reflex squads and tanks starting to get into the deep back line of the red team over here. And it's mainly just been mostly yellow, occasional red kills here and there. It just does seem that the statics from Take Care are doing a great job over here playing together and dominating right now in this fight.
Yeah, it does look like that again. We're just getting pushed back. Getting pushed back all the way towards the spawn. There's Audrey right there. It's time for some good heckin' gameplay from Audrey right here. Definitely one of my regular chatters that always comes in with a fair amount of vigor into the chat with all capitalizations. They don't really talk in lowercase letters. I don't think that they're actually capable of doing so, but not in a really good spot right now as Audrey needs to get to safety right now, trying to run out of the fight, but keeps getting CC'd on this one. Fortunately enough, no one is really doing any damage to her as she continues to back up right here. Beautiful job to try to get out of that very tough situation.
100%. Take Care is really resilient. They are a wall right now as, I don't know, just can't pass the wall. There is a fight on the stone, as we can see on my screen over here. But in general, like, it has now been clumped over towards the stone. It is now getting wiped out as there's mostly Take Care of it, which is interesting to see the amount of numbers that Take Care have on the stone in comparison to on the main fight over here. And they are still a wall. They just can't get through the Take Care main ball over here, even when they're mostly like outnumbered here.
Yeah, and Moist right now trying to pull people in on the side of but just not able to make anything happen. And you can see how long it's taking him to find a heal here. He says, somebody please heal me right there. Finally catches a Nature's Blessing and starts to heal back up just a little bit, pushing RuneScape into the corner over here. RuneScape on a wand dagger in this one. And again, oh my goodness, another good heal. Look at this from Take Care. Doing a great job of every time someone takes damage, making sure that they're there for them. RuneScape comes out of stealth, constantly looking for that curse bomb on this side. How do you feel Wand Dagger actually is in the current metagame right now?
So it's very interesting. I've seen the occasional Wand Daggers be popping off during the tournament, and I've seen the occasional comps running Wand Dagger, but in my opinion, I do believe Wand as a damage has lost a little value in the new meta, because the value of Wand as a DPS, or it used to be mainly SNS ones, Templars doing a lot of the damage for the Curse Bombers. In general, I think they've lost a little bit of value just because the fights are a little way faster now, and the longer the fight is, that's when the Wand DPS gets more value, because the way that Wand works, if you guys don't know in chat, is you need to stack up over time and blow people up slowly. So the tankier the meta is, the more value these wands will get. But since the meta is a bit more squishy right now, I think wands have lost value in my opinion. And I don't really have a strong opinion on Wand Dagger. I'd be curious. It's been interesting to see it in the tournament.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Wand Dagger very popular in Europe, and honestly, they have some of the best Wand Daggers in the game that I can tell. A big tornado of all things coming out on the side of Sensitsu. He runs towards the point right now. Oh, actually, look at this. Look at this.
Red is going for the point.
Yeah, right now, the has the point right now, and they have 18 people. Take Care goes, we got caught out of position as we look at that. Breathing some life into their match right now, getting all the way up to 35% before Take Care wakes up, snaps out of it, and comes back over to the point to try to defend it.
100%. I just watched some of the Take Care tanks absolutely go sicko mode. They dived the backline with Bellandir, with Time Bomb. They sucked in like 10 people into a clump and just absolutely blew them up. So well played to the Take Care tanks going aggressive and getting that much of a setup and that many kills. That was crazy to watch as well.
Yeah, E-Girl Waifu doing her best to try to stay alive here, but sadly gets killed at the end right there. She did what she could. She was in a great position at the start of the fight and still just couldn't manage to come up with it because the rest of her guild had already died by the time that she ended up going down. But a good job to basically stay alive until the last possible minute there. Spirito moving up now. He's a healer, moving up and trying to make anything happen for his guild. Oh no, he gets pulled in. That's not what you want to see out of a guild, right? Or out of a healer right there. Archery gets pulled in as well, and Take Care using these pulls to absolutely blender.
You can see the Bulwark SNS, once again, if people in chat are not too familiar, it basically hooks 4 people into right in front of you or behind you. In general, this Bulwark SNS has, throughout the tournament, you can see that once you hook 4 people into a clump, those guys are gonna be like, they're gonna get messed up, man. Like, in general, when you have multiple bulwarks hooking people into a clump, if the tanks coordinate it well enough, and especially with Cordy spinners and spears and staves, all AoE, massive damage potential, it's just so strong together.
Yeah, if we look at the leaderboards here, we look at defeated Sample on that Spear Dagger. Look at the Spear Daggers, top 3. Ashi B, Broomstick, and Sample right there. Number 4 coming in on the Staff Bow right there. The Win More weapon, as you say. Over on the assist side of things, it's more of the same. Damage dealt is Broomstick on top of that one. Goldfish coming in at the top for their damage taken. Very favored right here. Mount Hill, very take care heavy. Top healer on the side of is Saphira, followed by Zerora, followed by Senjutsu, and then the Duder right there trying to do what they can for but the leaderboard's certainly looking like Take Care dominating. That's telling the story of this match so far.
100%. And right now, I think need to get their coordination. I'd like their resilience. They're pushing in, they're trying to take control here. But in general, I do feel like are doing a little too much trickling in. So if can get a regroup or try maybe a 2-pronged or 3-pronged attack here, maybe try something a little bit different with splitting your forces. I haven't seen too much of splitting the forces from and I would love to see that in general to see if they can do anything with that. I would love to see that play.
Yeah, looks like Neff diving in right now on the Great Star. Oh, look, there's an attempt on the point right now. As I pan over here again, Take Care pulled out of position, and this is something we've seen from before. Look at this Static group fighting, actually winning the fight against Fuji Cake Static here. Narwhal doing his best right now, but Fuji pulls him right off the point. Narwhal gonna try and cap one more time, calls for the help of yet another Static, and look at that, just one Static comes back to make sure that they take control of this point right now. Enzal doing what he can in the middle of everything. There's Encore as well, and this is where the real fight is really taking place, because is doing their best to try to secure the point, but again, it's like a 12v12 for the actual objective over here. Narwhal gonna go for it again, but here comes the rest of Take Care as they've mopped up the rest of
Here comes the tidal wave. Yeah, 100%. Take Care, like, I'm not sure if it's a lack of damage when it comes to the side, but in general, just Take Care doesn't seem to be, like, losing. Like, you don't ever see them really get low. Their health bar is just full all the time. So that must be just a great use of, wow, insane kill feed. But in general, I feel like perhaps the tanks are doing a great job, or healers doing a great job of rotating their defensives to keep Take Care from not taking a single piece of damage here. There's a few people taking a bit of damage here, but in general, like, yeah, Take Care just look like a brick wall, and they just are trying to punch with their fists, so you just can't get through it.
Yeah, really cool to see the pulls being used like this to continuously stack up the members so that they can get down AoEs like Flash Wave and particularly Gordy Spin, and then again the Spear Daggers with a solid AoE as well coming in on that one. But again, continuously pulling members in to, even if you're not clumped up at the start of the fight, you do end up being more clumped up toward the end of the fight. And Take Care expressing dominance with 7 minutes to go. Has had some really good attempts to get the point, to cap the point. They clearly have 1 or 2 statics that are dedicated to trying to get this over here, but sadly they have been unable to out skirmish the Take Care statics to this point, Invuln.
100%, man. I don't know what can really do at this point. There isn't much. Once again, I've mentioned this throughout the tournament. There isn't much maneuvers you can make on this map. There isn't terrain you can really maneuver around. If you are a strong guild against the other strong guild, this map is extremely flat, and you will get decimated. As we can see here, Take Care looking like one of the strongest guilds in the tournament so far in general, because are not just some, random weak guild here. They have some strength in them, but the Take Care is just abusing them at the moment. But I do respect for once again trying their best here.
Yeah, King's doing what he can from the outside of the fight on behalf of Take Care. Again, Staff Bow, a very common weapon loadout that we're seeing from some of these top-end guilds. I'm not sure it's as bad as maybe you had let on before. Otherwise, I don't think that we would see Exodus and TC running at least 3 of them. Corrupt was running them as well. But honestly, I'm curious what EU thinks about that. And then NA West as well. Yoff out in the middle of everything here. Quay TC, that Crusader doing what he can. Some attempts on the point. Let's go take a look what's going on over here. It looks like a 3v4. Narwhal once again going for it. Hubert keeping him from getting that one, and Narwhal just keeps getting interrupted. They're toying with them.
Yep, I'm watching the main ball fight over here. Red is trying to respawn throughout the portal here, but in general, Yellow is just surrounding them over here. I'm going to be checking. I think Red is coming from the opposite side now, as we can see here. They're trying their best to spawn on the other side and making another engage here. I see 1 kill from Super Luigi. Damn. They got some great names, to be honest, in red here.
Absolute
I see Moist
peak
as well.
Names. Absolutely peak names. They're keeping me guessing. I am just trying to keep people happy on this one. Narwhal continually pushing on to the point right now, doing what he can to try to make something happen. You see Sprito once again floating the outside of the fight with the rest of the healers here, just trying to keep himself alive, but he keeps getting focused down as well on the outside of the fight. Ants really struggling as well here. This is a gladiator, a little afraid to move in here, and that's what happens when your guild is getting blasted like this, is you just afraid to go in. E-Girl Waifu with another perfect position on the outside of the fight. She consistently finds really solid points to play from. Her static right in front of her here with Iggy off to her right, and then Chief off to her left right now, and constantly able to stay alive and make sure that they're getting these heals down on the outset of the fight.
100%, man. I honestly think a big MVP right now from Take Care is gonna be their tanks. I think their tanks have been doing a great job with, initiating and clumping up with their bulwarks, the side of over here, and I've been really impressed by the engages of the tanks in general. So I'm gonna give those guys a big props for what they've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Moist doing what they can. A lot of people love that word for sure. Moist doing what he can to pull people out of the fight right now on that Crusader, doing what he can for as a frontliner right here. But like you said, Take Care's frontline doing an exceptional job of consistently getting engages down, making sure Blood Devo is for the most part running as frequently as it can be, but mainly those pulls that we're seeing on the side of Take Care's frontline are really exceptional here, and consistently keeping from having any control of the point as we tick under 3 minutes here, although a big kill feed on the side of
Wow. That was actually a really insane pull into a Cordy spin. If they could have done that 10 more times, perhaps we could have actually seen a wipe on TC here, because that was actually a great coordination from the spinner and the bulwark player there. That was a huge clump. But it did seem like even with that spin, it does seem Take Care is quite tanky. They just don't take damage really. We're looking at their health bars right now. Are they even going down right now? We see a little bit. But I'm not seeing it go down at all, and I'm not sure if Take Care just have a very tanky lineup and using defensives great here, or is just his DPS like a bit too low to verse TC's comp here. I'm not too entirely sure.
Yeah, I think it's a whole lot of everything when your guild is this far behind in a matchup like this. But to their credit, I do think that is going to do well in the lower bracket of this tournament based on the coordination that I've seen so far. It's not just the Cordies in their guild that are able to get kills here. They're definitely showing promise spawning from different sides. They've shown that their statics are working well with one another. They're trying to cap the point while the main ball fight happens somewhere else. They're trying to get flank engages coming in as well. This is definitely one of the more coordinated guilds we've seen, despite having to fight Take Care, which is one of the top seeded guilds in the tournament. They should be able to make it much further in the tournament once we see them make it down to the lower bracket here in Will.
100%. TC definitely are one of the contenders for winning this tournament in general. There's definitely a decent amount of contenders. Once again, as you've mentioned, the meta change in general. So TC definitely have a great chance of winning this overall. So it is a bit rough for to be up against Take Care, but it's how it is. It's how the tournaments go. Sometimes you get a rough experience like this, but what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Oh my gosh, look at that clumpage from Take Care. Take Care just been doing a great job with balling them up and then collapsing on as they're clumped up with not just Cordy spinners, but just general CC damage from all their players. Just great coordination from Take Care.
Yeah, I gotta hand it to him. Has the best names in the tournament. I just saw somebody get 100%. A kill named Weeb Commander. You know what I mean? We've got E-Girl Waifu, Weeb Commander. He just got pulled into the middle of everyone. He ended up going down right there. I forget what the one you mentioned before as well. So you got to give him credit where credit's due. I love their names. Are absolutely goated. Really, really cool that we're seeing right here.
Do we reckon... Do we reckon ego waifu is a real ego waifu, or is it just a...
I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
thinking?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. And again, I'm just trying to make sure everybody's happy in the tournament. I'm trying to use whichever pronoun people would like to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and say yes and say she, her in this case, unless I hear otherwise. Just trying to make people happy. Sample, Broomstick, and ICB and Kings at the top of the leaderboards for kills. 136 kills in that lobby. 119, 72, 63, and 61 coming in for the top 5 right there. If we take a look over at the assists, 243 assists coming in for Broomstick, Sample, Kings, and Ashby once again with the spear daggers. Ooh, my goodness, bro. They are pumping. With that weapon. 6 million damage dealt from Broomstick right there. Spear dagger from Sample, staff bow from Kings, spear dagger from Ashby, staff dagger from Ego right there. As you expect, again, daggers help amplify the main weapon's damage in Throne and Liberty, but it does make you a significant amount squishier overall. You're not going to be very tanky with any weapon loadout if you're running a dagger. And that is the trade-off. But those who can make it work with that glass cannon style build, you're pumping. 1.8 million damage taken from Pandaea, Thunderhawk, Starcade, Enzo, and Fade right there, doing a great job. Amount healed, 23.5 million for Wuru. That's one of the highest in the tournament so far on the side of Take Care. Weeks, Sigma Male, Witch and Cowley, and then Audrey down there at number 6. That's, again, silly names, these goofballs.
100%. You know, the interesting thing about Take Care is that to give a bit more like story on Take Care was able to when the drama between Nisa and Hellowing was happening between Hellowing became Nihowing into Hellowing once again. The Nisa squad ended up joining Take Care, making them quite strong. And the interesting part about Take Care is the Nisa squad was always known to have basically, I would say in my opinion, probably the best spear players on NA East. In general, they had a lot of great spear players in their statics and stuff. And if Spear Dagger is a very big meta thing, as we're seeing right now, I believe Take Care can really abuse that kind of meta with very powerful Spear Dagger players and perhaps even win the tournament. As we saw here, the kills were crazy amount on the top 4 when it came to Spear Daggers. We can still see they are they got a lot of great Spear Dagger players.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at the next match that we have today. We have 2 more to go today. This one is going to be Nemesis versus Gwenchana. This one should be pretty darn close. Nemesis, the rank 1 guild in their alliance alongside Bunny, Celestius, and Bai. They said we're the underdogs like Rudy in that football movie. And then they had some chat PvP to share as well, but we've already talked about it, so I'll let you introduce Gwenchana.
So Gwenchana, I was quite surprised with when I saw their fight. Last time we saw them fight, I was quite surprised with their strength level in general. I'm actually super curious. I think this fight could be really back and forth. I think the last Gwenchana fight we saw was actually pretty back and forth, and I'm interested to see where this goes. Once again, we mentioned before, they are from Snowburn still, I believe. They are not really part of any alliance here, and their prediction is no clue, just happy to be here. And I actually just like that spirit in general, you know. I like a bit of chat PvP, but you know, I like that spirit as well, a bit of a mixture, you know.
Yeah, we'll read Nemesis's chat PvP. Why not? They said Blackfire is one of the worst semi-competitive with quotation mark guilds in the game. Our loot distributor Chaperone is giving away all of Jibu's loot. Please do not target Jibu in this one. So we'll have to see just where Jibu stacks up and what weapons he's running in this one. So you love to see them. Guilds typically chat PvP each other. It's what typically a male-dominant space is going to do. They're going to give each other a fair amount of poop. They're just going to sling it at each other repeatedly. You love to see that. Again, it shows good sport and camaraderie among the different guilds. If we look over towards the versus screen for this match, I'll let you cover pick ban here.
All right, give me one moment. Let's take a look here. So, Nemesis won and they chose to pick. Gwenchana has chosen to ban here. Well, they're forced to ban. They banned, interestingly enough, they banned Talus, which was an interesting ban. I don't really see many guilds ban Talus.
Talus fatigue, man. God bless him. Doing the Lord's work.
It must be.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, please. I think I'm tired of watching Talus. Anyway, Leviathan, Paquilo, Manticus. Then they banned the rest of the Talandre maps here. Their pick is Azrael, which did we see it once before? I honestly don't remember at this point.
I don't think
but it hasn't actually been picked as much.
Yeah, well, Azrael is a very common stone. We saw it picked a lot yesterday and the day before, but I actually think that this is the first time we're seeing it today, potentially. And again, I'm glad we're seeing it right now because Nemesis and Gwenchana should be one of our closer matches for today. So, and Azrael is a very competitive Riftstone for guilds that are very closely matched. All of my closest matches that I have shoutcasted have always been on Azrael, as it looks like everybody's in the lobby. There's actually only one Cordy crossbow on both sides. So Keishu on the side of Gwenchana and Gang on the side of Nemesis. So it's going to be 1v1, who like head to head, which Cordy is out competing the other. But like at the end of the day, it really, your Cordy can only do so much. As we get into this one, the second to last match of the day, both guilds spawning into different portals as they come down the hill. Right now, it's Nemesis that's going to rush towards the stone, but it's going to be Gwenchana that beats them to it. They're going to cut off Gwenchana's tail, though, as Nemesis in the red. Oh, they're all getting pulled into the choke. Both guilds frontline trying to pull each other back and forth right now as beautifully Gwenchana gets into position to defend the choke point, and Nemesis fighting an uphill battle. Neither guild having flankers get onto the back line initially here, though, Invuln.
Yeah, you know what? Gwenchana may have taken the choke here, but luckily Nemesis didn't really push too deep. But Gwenchana's actually starting to go a bit more aggressive out here. They decided to go aggressive. They got a bit more confidence over here, and Gwenchana are actually getting more and more kills. I like how they're taking the snowball here. Bit of a risky play here, and they're starting to push a little bit, but I feel like they should definitely back off here. Use the choke as an advantage. If you get this choke in the beginning as an advantage, you should keep it. But Gwenchana are going a bit cocky over here, a little bit cocky. Will they get punished for this? We'll have to see here. Whoa, Keishu with a lot of kills right there. Holy.
Yep, there's the Cordy spin coming in right there. Keishu doing what he needs to. Gay skill, interestingly enough, I wonder if that's the same gay skill that I remember as a guild lead in Black Desert there. I bet it is the Abyss guild leader right there. So interestingly enough, his boy showing up, doing a great job in this choke point right now. And this shows you it's a game of seconds at the start of a Riftstone like Azrael. You really need to try to get in position as quickly as possible. Nemesis, actually is relatively close in overall strength with Gwenchana. Gwenchana getting in position before them was able to abuse the choke point, and it is not going to look close if you have to fight into a choke point like this, Invuln.
100%. Honestly, I think Gwenchana, like, it looks like Nemesis are weaker right now, but like you said, they just got the advantage of position here. Once this, hopefully, eventually this fight goes next to the stone, I think this might go back and forth. We still see a few kills coming out. They're picking off a few from the Nemesis picking off some of Gwenchana's people. That they need to reposition here and find a different approach. Perhaps come out of the high ground and fly down. There's a few different ways you can probably approach this. I'm going to check around. I don't see anyone sending any flanks around. If Red were also to send a flank around from the right side here to get behind him, that would be a great play. But in general, they just want to push through that choke.
That is not what you want to do. And again, this is not good on the side of Nemesis right here. They are literally just trickle spawning into a choke point right there. Nasty Muffin, another great name, in the middle of everyone just getting absolutely mowed down in the middle of it all. And again, they're just never going to make it through this. A few of the frontliners do manage to squeak their way through, but Pyle, not long for the world. He's going to go down. Numprosti going to go down as well. And just Gwenchana holding this choke on repeat. I would love to see Nemesis try to mix it up here.
They are moving around right now.
Oh, there we go, finally.
We've got a few.
Finally, a rotation coming in for Nemesis, running through, they need to get as many members through this choke point as possible. They're going to reinforce through the main choke in the top right of your screen. There are the flankers come in from the main choke right there. And now it's Gwenchana in a lot of trouble fighting the main ball from Nemesis. Looks good, but the flankers on the back side of the fight could have a big impact potentially. But again, Gwenchana collapsing down, expressing dominance. My God, what are the flankers doing on the side of Nemesis? I don't think they understand what it means to flank in this game, sadly, Invul.
Yeah, unfortunately, I still feel like Nemesis right now, they are losing pretty heavily, but they haven't had a great opportunity to regroup and take a proper fight. Right now, they've just had the worst position. Gwenchana have had the greatest positional advantage over Nemesis, and I just want to see, you know, a regroup from Nemesis, perhaps come from the high ground portal and just a full regroup and take an open fight here. But they are still trickling in here. Again, there's trickle in. There's trickle in effect. I think they need to regroup. High ground believe, but interestingly enough, Gwenchana's actually given them the space to regroup out in the open. So we could see, if they play life right now, we could see Nemesis regroup and perhaps take a proper fight right now.
Yeah, we're starting to see Gwenchana get pushed back to the Riftstone right now. Of course, that could be intentional as they fall back, but it does look like, again, Nemesis starting to gain a little bit of ground here as Esteni takes up to the high ground here. This is a healer, believe it or not, trying to pump out some big heals on the high ground right there. And again, here's the Riftstone. Unlocked code's going to go for that one right there. Does manage to do it. Good for him and his guild. Gwenchana on the board for the first time here with 39 people. 40 people standing strong on the point over the top of Nemesis. Nemesis really struggling to get any momentum here, as again, I'm not sure that their flankers know exactly what they're supposed to be doing here.
100%. I am actually props to Gwenchana. I've been watching their ball, and they are not playing overextended. They haven't been playing overextended. They're playing like a ball, and they seem to have the discipline to now to just punish these guys trickling in. They all backed off together towards the stone to cap it. They're not, you know, once again, not overextending. So well played to Gwenchana here. And I just feel like right now the caller for Nemesis has to do something a little bit different. There needs to be a regroup, because right now the whole time it's been a trickle fest, and once again they're just thinning out one by one as soon as they go in. So I really need to see their caller take a different approach here.
Yeah, you got Kishu out in front here. This is the Cordy crossbow on behalf of Gwenchana. Goes for a small spin right there and doesn't really find anything right there, but that would be because his guild is sincerely dominating here. Some interesting names in this lobby that we see. I'm seeing ERP, Himothy Jenkins as well, Kepi, Eddie G Slayer. That's a pretty bad name right there. I like that one. Eddie looking for it right now, and again, he's on Crusader in that one as well. So it does look like that Gwenchana taking control of the Riftstone here, and Nemesis not really having an answer to them, but honestly, some of them getting some really solid damage down. Some healers making it onto the leaderboard as well. Their tanks certainly trying to do what they can out in front, but Gwenchana definitely with the upper hand right now.
100%. Now, Nemesis still have a chance here. They have a lot of space to play with. Gwenchana, honestly, they have no one spawn camping. They have no flankers spawn camping. They're kind of just playing like a big ball right now. So, right now, Nemesis have the chance to kind of trickle in real group. I see a few red kills here, and they're starting to take control, not control, but like they're starting to take space right now. Red is trying to take space right now, and I see a few more kills here, and I actually think Nemesis could take this back. It's not over yet, really. They've got plenty of time here, and we'll see if they do that here.
Yeah, Dako on the back line for Nemesis right now, struggling to get damage down, keeps getting pulled into a position he does not want to be in. There goes the focus fireball down right there. He's standing in a healing circle, doing his best to try to pump down damage, but into health bars that look like they are just not moving. Dako finally going to run out of health right there as the rest of Gwenchana basically mops up Nemesis on this one, as they're constantly trying. Honestly, they got to interact with the point a few times right there. Meepy landing right there, but sadly he's landing in the middle of what looks like the Alamo for the most part. One static outside right now. Kincaid, Wet, E-Spirit, Eddie G, Slayer, and Kepi holding down the rest of Nemesis to try to keep them out of this choke point here so that the rest of Gwenchana can basically bottleneck this choke. You see them rotating over right now, and this is very bad for Nemesis to not try to run through this as quickly as possible, unless they're trying for a regroup. Maybe they try to go for a flank over here. If you could try to get that perspective, look for the flankers on this invuln. Let us know if you see anything.
I'm actually looking at the opposite side right now, and I'm seeing a few people towards the stairs over here. In general, I'm not sure if they're trying to regroup, trying to go for a bit of a flank here, trying to maybe cause a distraction. As we can see here, there is, I believe, what is that, a bow staff? I don't think these guys are flank groups. Maybe we have some people respawning from the high ground over here. But once again, they're just kind of trickling in from both sides. There hasn't really been too many proper regroups, but there is a kind of rotation of their main ball going towards this right side over here. In general, yeah, it's looking pretty rough for Nemesis right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Look how long it took that DPS to get any sort of a heal. He ended up dying with no healing at all. So you have to point the finger at the healers in this case. Every single healer in the guild is responsible if you stand that long. And again, the healers were not under any sort of duress right there. The healers were not under any sort of pressure. They're just saying, oh, well, he's not in my party, so it's not my static, not my problem at the end of the day, because clearly his static healer was not actually there to heal him. It's on the other healers to step up and do something, and they are just not. That's not the mentality you need to have as a healer. So the healers, I think, are lending to a very big portion of the problem here. Cringe again, not catching another heal. That one I'll give a little bit more forgiveness for, is he got blown up so fast it's really hard to make anything happen right there. But again, we need to see the healers on the side of Nemesis step up and actually heal stuff that maybe isn't in their party, because that's what makes a good healer, in my opinion, Invuln.
100%, I agree. And if you look at my camera here, you can see over at this cliff what a great job King has been doing this whole match. When the red team Nemesis basically come around this area, what's happening is there's two tanks hooking people off the edge here. And the interesting part is, if we look around here, you have to run all the way around here. As we can see, Chaperone over here, we can see Badaki. This is basically a death sentence. You have to run all the way back around to get to the fight. There's no other way to get back up. So if you do get pulled off this cliff, as you can see, Soul is pushing one off right now, and King, if this is a big collision battle and a big thing that guilds really try to abuse. As we can see here, another one falling down.
Yeah, and again, every single time, and this is the problem here, every single time I click on a Nemesis member, they lose HP, and it is permanent. Despite the fact that there are healers in the area here. Here's Sauce right here. We'll see if he heals any of the healers. This is Shan. We'll see if he catches a heal. He's starting to lose HP here. He just ends. Okay, all right. Well, that was a little unfair. He got killed. We'll take a look at Blue Diamonds, who's a healer himself, and that again, he is dead as well without catching even his own heal. Here's Pyle once again, another DPS on the side of Nemesis. He has not taken any damage yet, but we'll see if he is able to catch any heals right here as he starts to put down damage. It really does affect your DPS if you aren't going to catch any heals and you dive in. I think he died. Interesting choice to dive in like that onto the back line. Not sure it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him or not. In that case, Wilds, again, another DPS on the side of Nemesis right there. Gonna dive through. He's gonna try to lock down some priority targets on the backline. Prada doing his best to try to keep him at bay as well, but Wild's starting to lose HP. We'll see if he catches any heals. Down at half now, 20%, 10%. Finally catching a heal right there from one of the healers in Nemesis right there. So good. There we go. Starting to step it up and actually make a play happen, because it does affect the mental status of your DPS. They will not step as far forward. They will not do as much damage as they could do if they don't trust that their healers are going to heal them, Invuln. I'm sure you've gone through this yourself.
100%. I've gone for my fair share of everything, especially, I've trained certain guilds, and I've owned an alliance, and I've tried to train people. I've seen it all. In general, the Nemesis, I don't know if they lack a lot of tanks, but in general, Nemesis play very split, while Gwenchana is playing like a death ball. And I just think Gwenchana as an army is just like, I don't know, Nemesis don't have the right comp, I believe. I think Nemesis comp is definitely lacking. with the lack of, I haven't really noticed that many tanks personally. Maybe I'm blind here, but yeah, it's just they have nothing to really like group them up.
Yeah, you're right. Sir Horn diving into the middle of everything as a healer. Again, another bold strategy. Here we go. A big engage from the stairs side of things. I'm not sure that that's what you want to do as an engage right there. They go right into the jaws of Gwenchana. That is going to be a little rough. Look at that kill feed on the right side. Hugsy doing his best. Sauce on the high ground has not been pulled down quite yet on this staff bow, but there's only so much one person could do. Gets pulled down and immediately mopped up right there as well. Good management by Gwenchana. They do manage to initiate a cap on the point. They sneak one out back there as Voices sneaks in on the backside of the fight as well to try to get some heals down here. But again, his whole static is already dead. Very difficult to make anything happen. It looks like this cap is going to get thwarted immediately with 44 Gwenchana members on the point right now.
100%, and like after there was a bunch of red towards the point, but you know the main board of yellow was able to wipe the guys towards the big stairs, and after they wiped those guys, they came back and swiftly wiped everyone around the stone. And now red seems to be staggering some members in, and I just don't want to see that. I don't want to see them trickle members here. Let's see what they do. Maybe they changed up. I think it's very hard to play as a ball as Nemesis side, just because they do. I can't see any tanks. I've only seen 1 or 2 tanks, and I think playing as a ball or in this meta, it's going to be impossible without tanks in general. Even though like tanks and healers got to know if you really still need them to be able to push.
Yeah, at first I thought the chat was just 100% agreeing with me, but now I've realized that they're actually taunting you a little bit because you keep saying 100%. I'd love to see it go down. It's okay. If it makes you feel any better, when chat makes fun of you, it's because they love you. That's usually, at least that's the copium that helps me sleep at night. At the end of the day, 4.5 minutes left on the clock, and Nemesis really struggling. 30 people actually almost on the point for Nemesis, but 43 sadly for Gwenchana. They're just going to shut the door on this cap as well. And I completely agree with your assessment that there's just not enough tanks on the side of Nemesis. I think that they're strong players individually, but like, you know, what are we going to do? There's nobody to tank any damage. Look how quickly they end up dying here. There's no one to absorb any amount of damage or to get in there. And again, without Blood Devotion and even Bulwark in a lot of cases, you're really going to be struggling.
100%. And the important thing about a tank, besides taking space, absorbing damage, you know, CCs, once again, Blood Devotion. And it's also when you have a Blood Devotion tank and he communicates, you know, like, for example, a lot of people play marks on top of their heads, right? Let's say the tank has a shield top of his head. I usually, as the tank player, I would say, group up on shield. I'm going to Blood Devo. You just don't see, you see basically a lot of DPS and some healers on Nemesis side, and they're never really grouped up because they just don't have tanks to kind of group them up and make them play as a ball. It's just very split.
Yeah. I agree about 98% on this one. I Bloom, the healer on the side of Gwenchana, doing what they can here. If we take a look at the leaderboards, the top defeats Slipper G, Melee, Sparta, and Keishu in the top 4 right there. Seiza number 5. Damage taken, 1 million damage taken. For Silch right there on a... Does my eyes deceive me? An SNS bow?
Let's go.
Interesting. And again, I see a spear dagger coming in at number 2 for Gwenchana. Interestingly enough, amount yield 16.1 million. Gwenchana owning that. Cooked Timothy Jenkins at the top of the leaderboard for them. But again, Silch with the SNS bow. How do you feel about SNS bow? Well, are you 100% on it, or are you more like
I'm only a 33.5% personally. The SNS bow in general, there's some very niche uses, some hidden tech you can do, and you might see some interesting stuff later throughout the tournament with SNS bow. I'll be curious to see how many guilds are adopting an interesting strategy with bow in general. I'm not going to speak too much on it, but in general, SNS bow does have some interesting tech, especially with like the Lucent bow. There's some weird stuff you can do, but in general, I don't know. SNS bow. I mean, it's kind of a meme, to be honest. I don't know.
I mean, like, it does, especially if you're a shot caller, you do get to see the bow cooldown, so you can technically call out things like this, but there are certain advantages to it. Personally, I think that every single class in Throne and Liberty is absolutely viable for everyone. You just have to be a gamer, so to speak, and you can make just about anything work in the metagame, just because, again, we see some crossbow daggers be super popular and do a super good job in the metagame overall for that class. And again, it's not considered to be a super good class. Boo is griefing me right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get unlatched him.
My.
But he is, I can't spectate him because he's right on the edge there, but you can see Boo up on this high ground right here doing a lot of damage, and again, he has not been pulled down. But yeah, as I was saying, I think that you can absolutely make anything work. Again, you see some crossbow daggers. We saw how effective that was in Exodus, where, again, they allowed him to play despite the fact that he had what is it, purse? He had basically a tombstone POV on most of those pushes there. But you know what? I bet he's a gamer. I bet he's a gamer. If they had just given him a little bit more of a chance. You know, it just happens to everybody.
I love Perk. I love Perk. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm messing with
the crossbow dagger is actually, so it's actually insane. Expert Dagger in general really thrives off you being a good player as well. Expert Dagger was known to be one of the harder classes in the game for a while, and a lot of people for a while didn't realize the power of Expert Dagger. And in tier 2, I'm actually personally scared of Expert Daggers. If I, as a tank player for a while, Expert Dagger jumps on me, a good player, I can get destroyed. It's actually very strong, but you need to be a good player. But there we go.
Yep, that's going to be the end of that one. Not as close as we were hoping there, but Gwenchana coming out on top. A good showing for Nemesis and the boys over there. It does look like Slipper G, Melee, Sparta, Keishu, who is the Cordy crossbow spinner, and Seiza going to be the top 5 in the lobby right there in defeats. 114 kills on Slipper G as a gladiator. Interestingly enough, great sword spear user coming in there. The top assists of the lobby, once again, the same offenders right here, except that Co-op coming in at number 4 as a healer with the top assists in the lobby. That's very impressive. Damage dealt over 5 million from Melee right there on a spear dagger, as you were saying before. Very strong in the current metagame, doing a lot of damage with that class. Damage taken almost 1.3 million from Silch, the top tank of the lobby, on SNS bow. It's absolute cinema. Seiza, spear dagger at number 2, spear dagger at number 3. Maybe spear dagger is just that tanky in some of these matchups, but I think it was just a lack of tanks overall. Amount healed 19.7 million damage healed from Goddess Scream, Kepi, Zeri Tolan, and Museri right there coming in as the top healers of the lobby. Who's the top healer? Timothy Jenkins in Cooked right there. Top healer in Nemesis looks like it's Voices at 6.4 million healed. So Nemesis will come down to the losers bracket, and we'll get to see them one more time.
Yeah, man. Once again, spear dagger. Extremely scary. Now, to talk more, if you don't understand why, if your people in the chat newer to the game don't understand spear dagger, why it itself is not just a strong weapon combo, but something it provides for your army in general is going to be lightning infusion. Now, in general, how it works, lightning infusion, to give a basic explanation, they hit you, they remove your endurance. So they can remove up to like 800 endurance because multiple lightning infusions stack. And in general, when you lose that much endurance, as a healer, especially if a lot of healers are still running endurance, you just become very squishy. And with the healer nerf overall in general, and a lot of people are still running endurance, it's just causing a lot of people to get absolutely destroyed. So that's been a huge part of why Spear Dagger is also very insane for that debuff potential.
Yeah, I think that for those of you that don't know what endurance is, it's close to damage reduction in Throne and Liberty. But I would agree with you, as chat would say, 100%. We'll look over toward our last match of the day, which is going to be Awowis versus Villainous, our first match of the losers bracket. So this match is playing for keeps. right now. Whoever loses this is out of the tournament. And to be clear, if Awowis wins this match, they will go up against Hikikomori in the next match, and the Ayaya spam will get out of control because both of those two guilds think that they're the cutest guilds in Throne and Liberty. Villainous, though, the Giga Chads from the Adrenaline server, rank 1 in their alliance alongside Silver Dawn, Days, and Arrive, rank 2 on their server overall on Adrenaline there. 4 sieges won. They just hope to win the first round. They did not win in the first round, but hopefully they can win in the first round of the losers bracket, at least here, and Blargo can lead his boys to victory. They say they're an adult chill gaming community, and I have to say I've had very few bad interactions with Villainous. Overall, a class act.
75% on that opinion, Blue. Now, I need to talk about Awowis. I need these guys to win, right? And firstly, well, before I get into this, I need to see some Ayaya spams in the chat right now. I'm disappointed in you, chat. Where is it? Okay, now, Awowis, I need to see the fight between Hiki and Awowis. This is it's very important for my heart to exist. So, Awowis, you better let me down. These guys are from Stellarite. They're part of the alliance with Privateers. We know Privateer Beck and all that. And in general, alliance strength on the server is first. And, well, we know that the world first Catgirl guild, which I don't know if it's factual. I think there was a Catgirl guild before them, probably. But I don't know. Maybe they are.
Not this dedicated, though. Every single I talked to their leadership earlier today. They actually kick people from the guild if they're not actually, they force everybody to stream with their webcam early on. And again, they're all wearing cat ears before the match starts. You must be using either cat ears specifically, or you must have cat ears on your headset. It is a guild requirement before you can even get into match with these. I'm going to use people, but I'm not sure that everyone would use that descriptor for these things going on here, but certainly cat girls very prominent with this guild here. As we move over toward the versus screen, let's talk about pick band for a second. Villainous won the coin toss. They chose to pick Awowis band, a Dentist, Talus, Digon, and Chernobog. Interestingly enough, the choice from Villainous, we are going back to Azrael for the last map of the day. Personally, who do you think wins this one, Invuln?
There's not about who I think wins this. It's about Awowis needs to win this. That's all I really care about in general. So Awowis, you better let me down. But to be honest, who is going to win this? I honestly don't know. I don't really have a prediction. I think this could be an actually interesting fight. I'm curious to see where this goes. But maybe I'm actually going towards the Villainous side, perhaps winning.
I'm 100% going towards I think my boys in Villainous. Blargo, I'm rooting for you, buddy. I'd love to see Blargo and his boys come up with a W here. Again, cat girls, if they lose today, there's always Final Fantasy to fall back on, so no real problems with that there. You could always go play that game. It's perfect for you. I have the go from the tournament lobby here. It does like Awowis only has Martin for the corny crossbow user here, and again Villainous has Chris and Cumin. So 2 Cordies against 1, but normally we've seen 1 Cordy actually outperform 2 in most cases in this tournament so far. We are in to the final match of the day. Villainous in the yellow, Awowis in the red. Neither guild has actually spawned in quite yet on this one. I'm waiting to see where they will spawn in. Maybe are they up top?
I'm checking the high ground right now.
Oh my gosh, they are up here. Oh my gosh, they are up here. It's an all-out. Yeah, it's an all-out bare knuckle brawl for the high ground up here, and Awowis needs a little bit of loving because Villainous looks like they're really good right now. Brother Monkey getting a lot of kills right there. Big boy Bjorn solo smart, and looks like very Villainous favored in the kill feed right there. And again, Awowis has truly not powered up yet because unless there's a big Ayaya spam in the chat, you're probably not going to see them do very well onto the point here. I'd love to see them try to spawn at the lower spawn down there in order to make something happen. Wait,
100%, man.
Wait, they actually started getting a kill feed the moment the Ayayas came into the. What is going on? Wait, what is,
it's
are you
hilarious.
seeing this? What is happening, bro?
Yeah, keep spamming, guys. Keep spamming. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Ayaya's are now taking control a little bit here. But once again, this could be anybody's game right here. The portal was literally right next to them. But I'm glad to see some red finally getting some kills. And it's going to be going back and forth. Wow, red is starting to really wipe them. Ayaya's are really powering these guys up right now. Cat goes forever.
What is happening, bro? It was solid yellow feed for Villainous. And I was memeing, like, more or less, but, like, bro, like, you spam Ayaya to give Awowis power right now. I don't even understand what's... Look at the solid red kill feed coming through for Awowis. Villainous can't even come up with a kill. All of a sudden, I feel like Blargo is going to be in my DMs after this match and be like, you.
Oh, my God, dude. You probably should have told chat that you griefed them. You told them to IAs, and now these guys are just powered up, 100% power. All I'm seeing is red. I saw 1 or 2 yellow, but mostly red here. But once again, it could be anybody's game here, and this could be pretty back and forth because yellow was winning in the start here. It's just the IAA power. How long will it last for this fight here? And eventually, we'll have to go to the stone fight. But this is really awesome for the last match over here, as we're seeing. Instead of taking control of the stone, we're going for all out brawl, and it's I think everyone's just having some fun right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like that Villainous doing what they can. Cumin on that Cordy crossbow, picking up a kill right there. But again, on the back foot right now, Villainous starting to get at least a little bit more of a footing now. Again, because Awowis just surged forward and got so much momentum right there off of that. Interestingly enough, we do not see guilds fighting on this high ground very often. This is not an impact. There's a big Cordy spin right there. Cumin picks up a few kills. Big for him and his guild right there. We do not see people fighting on this high ground very often because this is considered the worst spawn on this Riftstone to be spawning at, and yet both guilds are prioritizing it here. Interestingly enough, the Riftstone is going to open up in a minute and a half. If we take a look at the leaderboards right now, it's back and forth. Villainous, Awowis, Villainous, Silver Dawn, which is Awowis, Days, Awowis, Villainous. We are really struggling. Awowis doing a great job on the leaderboard so far. Damage dealt very back and forth here in this one. This might be our closest match of the day as far as the leaderboards go. Silver Dawn, I'm not sure which alliance necessarily Silver Dawn actually is with Days and Awowis here, but they have the strongest, I believe it's Awowis actually, that have the strongest healers in the lobby so far, and that's going to make the difference here as both guilds start to rotate to the slow ground.
Man, I've been watching 100% here. I don't know what's happening. Like, it's just, they're going back to the low ground here, but like, it's been really back and forth, and it's been awesome to see. I've actually really been enjoying watching this fight here. It kind of looks like my battlegrounds that I host here. It's all over the place and just back and forth. In general, as we can see here, yellow is the first one to try to take position of the low ground, and you can see here the collision tanks are trying to hook them with the spot I mentioned last match here. Great idea by the collision tanks here, and now they're moving over to take the fight here. In general, there is a wall versus wall. Yellow or Villainous is taking the advantage to begin with here, but Awowis, here we go. Let's see if they can reinforce and perhaps keep taking the fight, because the fight is not over. It's a very passive fight right now. No one's diving too deep over here from either side. Yellow's starting to snowball a little bit, getting pickoffs. Oh, there we go. We had some red kills over towards, I can't even see where they got those kills. In general, is anyone using the collision spot? I'm taking a look. As we can see, we got Solo trying to hook people off here. Oh, he got counter pushed. Wait, no, what the hell is happening here? Oh, the collision. Oh my God, who's falling off the edge here? I don't know. Yellow kind of pushed him off here though. That was kind of crazy to watch there. And in general, as we can see here, Awowis is trying to wrap towards the smaller stairs. We've got a Yearn at the top here. And in general, this is kind of going a little bit back and forth.
Interestingly enough, Invuln, both guilds are still spawning from the worst possible spawn location on the map. They're both still spawning from point 3 and flying down. At least Awowis is. We'll see if Villainous has started spawning. No, now some of the Awowis are starting to spawn on the lower spawns down here, but I don't see Villainous either here. Yeah, no, Villainous is still spawning at that top spawn as well. So again, some inexperience from both guilds coming out here for our first match of the losers bracket here. No one should be spawning at that upper spawn at this stage. When you're contesting this point, and Villainous is, they're at 88% on this cap right now. They might just pull it away before Awowis can do anything. You cannot be spawning at the upper spawn if you want to make anything happen. You're starting to see now, I think, both guilds transition to a low ground spawn. Awowis at least is, and they're starting to surge a little bit stronger onto the point. Villainous definitely takes convincing control of the point overall, but Awowis getting some big kill feeds. This match is not over yet.
100%. This is like, honestly, this has been very interesting to watch here. In general, I think I do agree there is a little bit of an inexperience, but I think both guilds having an experience has made this interesting in general, and they are taking the, like I said, the lowest there spawn right now. I honestly am not sure who can win this right now. I think Awowis still has a chance, and I hope they do win this, because I'm rooting for the cat girls. I'm rooting for the IIRs over here. They're going for the cap right now. Awowis successfully got the cap over here, and we'll see if they can get enough bodies to recap this. Yellow is really clumped up, and they're actually, a lot of them are pretty half HP. They're getting heals up now, but that was a chance to perhaps kill the Villainous clump there. But it's still going back and forth. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, we've got, this is an interesting name, G-Bussy. Over here, boy, that's an interesting name on the healer right here, doing what he can, doing a great job of keeping things healed up right there. Ash Q over here as well, another great healer on the side of Villainous right now. Yearn taking a lot of damage right there, catches a big heal in the middle of everything, gets into the corner right there, does manage to get healthy. You're doing a solid job. Oh no, gets killed by a stray flash wave on the point right there. Finally, Awowis does manage to capture the point. 26 people on the point to the 31 from Villainous, so they're actually doing a great job of rallying onto the point. 29 now, getting closer, but the cap is going to run out for Awowis. Once again, they did manage to get 30 people up there. If we take a look at the leaderboards now, it's starting to be a little bit more Villainous favored at the top. But again, look at all the Awowis down toward the bottom of this one. Damage dealt wise, Awowis all over this leaderboard for damage dealt. But sadly, Villainous, stronger unit together. Apes together strong. Awowis is doing a great job on the leaderboards, but sadly, they are not working together as a unit. And to be fair, Invuln, cats are solo creatures. They don't move around in packs like dogs do. You see individual play coming out of these cat girl femboy fantastic guild in Throne and Liberty here, but I'd love to see them work a little bit more better together.
100%. I'm trying to check. I'm looking around to see any Devo links in general. I'm trying to see if they're really kind of, I think the lower experience, well, actually, once again, decent amount of red kills here. It's really going back and forth. Round and Perky getting a decent amount of kills here. But in general, I'm trying to check if I do see the Devo links. I think the lower experienced guilds won't abuse Devo as much as the more competitive guilds or the mid-scale guilds. But wow, okay, once again, Red's getting quite a few kills. Razem with 2 kills. Daddy Dan, Step Husband, great names. Once again.
Huh? Pause. Yeah, so interesting names right there. Step Husband and Daddy Dan battling together. You know, they're in the same static with one another over there. Turtle going down on the left side of the fight here. Sever on the other side. Staff Dagger. Let's see if he can catch a heal before he ends up going down. Where are the heals at? No, he's going to end up going down. Villainous finding the priority targets, but Awowis consistently able to get caps on the point here, which is really good. Queen Skin in the middle of everyone. Skippy the Walrus. Another great name here. Skippy the Walrus, a gladiator on the side of Awowis here, doing what they can, but down at 10% HP. We'll see if, again, they can catch a heal here. But again, this is the problem, is you see these DPS start to run out of HP, and I feel like the Awowis healers have their work cut out for them.
I do think, though, Awowis are taking some great space. They're not really clumped up. They're kind of all over the place, which can be beneficial. It depends. The yellow side Villainous can easily clump them with bulwarks and stuff. But right now, I think Villainous haven't been doing as great as a job with some of the guilds we have seen with clumping. So in general, Awowis spreading out like this is pretty good for them. I just think that the statics of perhaps Villainous are playing a little better together. I think that's been definitely the big thing we've seen here. A great clumpage by Villainous over here towards the middle of the point there. And it looks like Awowis are kind of getting thinned out a little bit.
Yeah, Red Robin, yum, dropping down to the low ground right there, but basically uninterrupted firing from the high ground right there for a long time alongside his buddy God Turtle. Finally gets pulled to the low ground right there. I think that what we're seeing right here in Vuln is a compositional diff right now, is we see Awowis just running a crazy amount of DPS players in this match. It's basically just almost all DPS and healers with almost no tanks, and that's why we're seeing the leaderboards be as one-sided as they are. They just simply have more DPS. The problem is they don't have anyone that can stand tall on the point for extended durations of time, which is why we're seeing Villainous consistently have more people on the point.
100%. Now, well, actually more like 89.5%. So in general, when it comes to the tanks, and if they had a tank at each of these Awowis groups giving them Devo, I actually think they would easily win this. I think that's what they're really lacking, is that Devo presence from Awowis. You're 100% right. They need just more presence and more beef on the point there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. To echo your thought earlier there, I do think that, again, Step Husband here doing a pretty solid job on this great sword dagger here, trying to lock down individual targets here. Tugmane getting blasted down right now, but honestly able to do a pretty solid. He should be dead at this point. There's 4 members on him. Finally, Step Husband manages to find, I can't say this name anymore, manages to find the kill there, but he's doing a great job on the great sword dagger, man. It's just I can't do it anymore.
What, dude? What the hell? Wait, somebody explain what a Step Husband is. Wait, what does that mean? I don't know.
Don't even worry about it. You do not want to know. Last Dragoon
I
here
to look
in
this
the
up
middle.
off the stream.
Yeah, Last Dragoon in the middle. An SNS staff? Doth my eyes deceive me? The NA meta it's different, is the word that I'm going to use. An SNS staff is not something that you see every day. This is kind of Giga in PvE, but not something you see in PvP every day. How do you feel about SNS staff?
Yep. It's definitely a combo.
Yep.
It's definitely one of those combos that exist in the game MMO Throne of Liberty. It's definitely a weapon combo, and that's all I gotta say.
I think, again, it can be very, very good. If we look at his DPS on the leaderboards here, let's see he's there he is. Wait, yeah, here we go. Down here, he's got 1 million damage dealt so far with 10 kills. And honestly, you see that he hasn't died very many times either in this lobby. Is that I can lock onto him for long periods of time. So good sustained damage that you're seeing here on that. But again, not going to top the leaderboards by any stretch of the imagination. But again, just a little bit more resilient there. You've got that Blood Devo option as well. Vina going to go, oh my goodness, gets caught in a Cordy spin right there and gets absolutely Baja blasted down. Dingus the Third on the Gladiator class here, the Spear Greatsword, doing a great job. And again, Villainous' composition just looks more tanky, Anvil.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's literally. I gotta stop saying that number. Like, I'm actually starting to like really. Anyway, we got stars here at the top, trying to rain down on the high ground here. In general, unless you have melee evasion, a tank can easily punish you by hooking you off the high ground. But because Awowis have like no tanks, honestly, I believe Villainous could really abuse the high ground right now because they just won't get hooked off.
Yeah, absolutely. Cold Cake on the low ground right now. A healer on the side of Villainous doing a great job. Let's see who the top healer in the lobby currently is. Terror Izmu from Silver Dawn. Techniques from Villainous right there. Danmu from Days. Tetrafy from Queenskin. That's Awowis right there because, again, and it has been a tough time for the Privateers Alliance. Awowis rounding out that alliance for them with Tetrafy there. It has been a tough time. They have not seen, anyone in the alliance has seen a victory quite yet. So, and it's looking kind of dire right now for Awowis, although they're at 37% on this current cap. They are climbing, although now Villainous is back on top again. We could see them battle back here into the closing minutes. Under 4.5 minutes to go, but they have over 33% currently. They don't necessarily need to start sweating, but now is the go time. You really need to start getting more people onto the point at this stage.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be pretty hard to cap this at this point. It seems they've really been hovering around the 20 to 30% mark. And I keep repeating this. If they had those tanks, I think they would win this. They just need, like, let's say 5+ tanks here, and the cap would be Awowis, because their DPS are doing a great job in killing, but they just can't sustain it on this point. I'm not too sure how many healers Awowis have, but definitely, once again, lacking those tanks. And also this raw tank is still on the higher ground, just free casting. It's definitely looking Villainous sided.
Yeah, Day from Awowis right here, one of the few tanks in his composition right here, doing what he can on that Templar to stand tall. Look how many people are trying to wail on him right now, and he's still managing to stay alive. And again, the Awowis frontline, if they just had a few more people like this, he's finally starting to take damage, and I think he will go down there. But oh my goodness, that is what tanks
what a trooper.
are. Yeah, what a trooper. That is what tanks are good for. I think if Awowis just had a few more of those, I actually think that this fight would be going a different way, because you see the leaderboards, Awowis is definitely getting damage down. They're definitely getting kills. Their healers are definitely doing a really solid job. They're able to keep up with Villainous, but I think compositionally, Villainous is playing stronger, or like came with a stronger composition. And then I think as far as the statics go, Villainous is playing better static to static group. Blargo and his boys have gotten better organization on Awowis here. And again, you see the statics of those different groups working better together. You see Cumin being much more effective on his Cordy crossbow here on the side of Villainous than the Cornies on Awowis here, in my opinion. Cumin has just gotten some really solid kill feeds and is consistently alive more frequently. There's another spin right there, picking up another kill. Panty's Useless getting another kill as well. Again, interesting names in this lobby.
Yeah, so I definitely this is a compositional issue, as we've talked about a few times here. In general, like I would say that most of, from my experience, most of the player base, mainly plays DPS. So when it comes to like a lot of mid to lower tier guilds, trying to recruit enough healers and tanks to, fit the meta can be quite difficult. So I do feel bad for them. I mean, as for example, in my guild tier, we still struggle to find enough healers and tanks sometimes when it comes to recruiting in the past. So I do feel bad. Maybe we're looking for more tanks to put in their roster, but it's just most people in this game do play DPS because it is I would say the funnest role, of course, as in most MMOs.
Yeah, there's the door closing one more time for Awowis. We will not see the Ayaya Battle of 2025 in this tournament. It will be Villainous moving on to the next round of this tournament with only a minute left on the clock. They will not be able to cap it in time. Villainous just doing their best, and to be honest with you, Villainous has an opportunity to wipe both Ayayas. The weeb exterminators of the tournament right here could be Villainous. So if you are not a fan of the anime Ayaya spam, you are a Villainous fan today, you are a Villainous fan tomorrow, you are a Villainous fan for life here, because they have to beat both guilds. They got to beat Ikikomori, which interestingly enough, Villainous has done many times in its Black Desert career. Hickey actually used to beat Villainous a lot. Villainous would beat Hickey a lot. They go back and forth, but both of those guilds have had certainly a lot of beef with one another. So it will be cool to see them meet once again in Throne and Liberty with even better PvP systems like this. 10 seconds left on the clock. Villainous is going to go through to the next round. Moonborn getting one more kill feed for the road for the boys and girls in Villainous over there, and that will be the end of it. Down goes Awowis, knocked out of the tournament. Not a fun day for the Privateers Alliance right there, but they could, who knows, tomorrow could be their day. Cumin, like I said, the top kills in the lobby, the top Cordy spinner in the lobby as well. Villainous's Smote coming in with a staff dagger at number 2. Chaos, Daze's Chaos coming in with a spear dagger. Awowis's Daddy Dan at number 4 with that spear dagger as well. And then crossbow dagger, interestingly enough, coming in at number 5 from CHLM on the side of Awowis over there. Look at the top assists in the lobby. You got the bow staff coming in from Gratz Rude Boy right there on the side of Dazed. Top damage dealt in the lobby is again Cumin, followed by Yearn on the staff dagger, and then a spear dagger from Daddy Dan and AO John from Tetrafy. Again, staff dagger again. Damage taken from Moonborn, a 1.7 million damage taken on the Crusader class, and he's the one that got 3 kills at the end there. So Crusader doing a lot of damage on top of it as well. Silver Dawn's Terrorismo, Kuna, Razum, and Matt and Strider all having a great game on tank right there. Amount healed in the lobby. Terrorismo, rank 1 tank in the lobby and rank 1 healer in the lobby, as it were. Actually, I'm sorry, rank 2 tank in the lobby, rank 1 healer in the lobby, and that's how healers are sometimes. You just be tanky like that. Techniques, Danmu, Queenskin, Anti-Shiro, and Pickle Grabber from Villainous. All the top, and then Jabussi, bro, okay, all right, it is what it is. Those are the top healers of the lobby. Take it or leave it.
I will say, that was a pretty great fight towards the end. I love seeing how the top 10 was literally a mixture of the two guilds. So that's awesome to see a fight towards the end where it was honestly kind of close, to be honest. I mean, even though they definitely had the compositional advantage towards Villainous, it was still a pretty good fight to watch. And I liked the intro, how they just took a brawl fight towards the top high ground. That was fun to watch as well. And great job, chat, with the spam and the AIS. Good.
Yeah, and
content.
a fantastic start to our lower bracket. Sadly, Awowis is out of the tournament first here, and that's just how, actually, technically, Good Fight was out of the tournament first. So, Awowis, you are not in last place. Proud of you. And they showed up and they fought the Good Fight, but sadly, the Cat Girls did not have a good day today. The Cat Girls did not win today, not in Throne and Liberty. If Villainous has anything to say about it, I want to say good fights to all the guilds that came out and competed today. We certainly had some great matches, and as the NA East tournament progresses forward, I think that the chat PvP and the rivalries of NA East are the best anywhere of any tournament that we have so far. So we're getting these early rounds of the tournament out so far. And again, they're not necessarily the closest matches yet, but I think that the best is yet to come for NA East. We have some very competitive teams later on in the tournament, and anyone that gets knocked down to the lower bracket always has a chance to keep going there. I would like chat to give some W's in chat for Amazon Game Studio for sponsoring the tournament or supporting the tournament in a huge way. 1.3 million Lucent on the line. It just would not be possible without their promotion, without the CM team over at AGS supporting the tournament in such a big way. I know it means a lot to the community that they support an event like this, and the event means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me that they would come out and support the event. So WAGS right there, some great support. I've never seen community support in an MMO that strong for an event, so absolutely fantastic. We can also put some W's in chat for our tournament director today, which was Senior Chief Dragon and Lucy, and then all of my moderators. We can wave hi. We'll do hi for the moderators in chat. Everybody wave hi to the moderators. Thank you so much, guys, for helping organize the tournament and keeping the flow of everything going in the chat for everybody today. We really appreciate everybody that shows up for the tournament, the guilds that made it to the tournament and competed in the tournament, whether you've been knocked out or you continue to fight that good fight. These tournaments are not possible without you coming to compete like this, and I and we as a community really appreciate it, because this is what PvP is all about. You show up, you fight, even if you don't necessarily know you're the top guild, you come out and fight the good fight anyway. Finally, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Invulnerable GG, who 100% did a great job casting today. Invul, you want to give yourself a shout out?
I appreciate it. That was, I tried to do my best. That was my first time doing any sort of casting, so appreciate you guys. 100% I agree. That was a great experience. And don't forget, guys, you should check out my Twitch channel. 100% you should check out my Twitch channel. I do stream basically Throne Liberty every day. I do host like battlegrounds and stuff and war games for you guys. If you're part of the NA East scene, come join me. We do it kind of around for the time, but it's basically right after Nebula or after Grimturg, if you guys know what I'm talking about. We host war games. If you join my Discord as well, I'll be announcing when I do these war games, so you guys have something to do and have some fun PvP together. It's nothing too serious, just 4 different teams fight each other. And yeah, just to simulate a kind of battlegrounds mode for you guys to get your PvP fix. So make sure you guys check that out. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You did a great job for your first time shoutcasting. Insane. And you look, honestly, of all the people I've shoutcasted with, we look the most professional today. We look pretty good today. I gotta say so myself.
Bro, I like the blue and yellow, bro. I like the blue and yellow. That's oh, sorry, that's fire. I don't know. Just saying.
That's okay. It's all right. I wanted to wear the mustard shirt because you know what I thought of when I put on this shirt today? I thought of Dwight Schrute, who is here's probably my favorite character from The Office. And I was like, you know, I kind of like this mustard. Now I'm kind of understanding why Dwight liked it so much. Right there. I'm curious who chat, I know that you want to get more of your Twitch drops, so I'm going to ask chat, who would you guys like me to go raid here at the start of the day? Because Invil, I don't think you're live right now. Chat, I'll ask chat, who would you like me to go raid on that side of it? But also, again, thank you guys for all coming out to watch the tournament. Remember, it'll always be on my YouTube, guys. There will be Throne and Liberty content every single day, 6 days a week for the next 3.5 weeks. We're going to see NA West, NA East, and EU duke it out to see who the top guilds and each region are. You're going to have cinema content every single day. Make sure you interact with the YouTube videos. Give them a thumbs up. Put a nice comment on the YouTube videos there to show that your support for the event and everything like that. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm seeing people spamming Lean in the chat. I'm not sure if that's actually a streamer or if that is just chat spamming Lean because there was someone named Lean in the previous match. I think that Saiga might be the go-to raid right here. So I'm going to throw it over towards Saiga on this one. Liam was a player in the Villainous match. I know, that's what I saw, but I didn't know if he was streaming or something. Maybe people wanted me to raid him. But again, guys, you can get unique drops every single week of the tournament. We are not streaming the Throne and Liberty tournament tomorrow. I'm making the new assets and updating the brackets. The brackets are already up to date. Thank you, tournament directors. But tomorrow is our out day. We'll be back with NA West on Monday, EU on Tuesday, NA East on Wednesday, back to NA West Thursday. Friday will be EU, NA East is Saturday, and then we will just keep the good times rolling. I really appreciate you. Good night, Timu, Johnny. Okay, well, we'll take that compliment. I have been working out. Thank you, chat, for noticing. You guys are absolute heroes. From us here on the Caster Desk, have a great rest of your night, guys.
See you guys.